What is up, everybody? Thank you for coming in to the first ever episode 1 Power Grid podcast. I am one of their hosts, Battery Power,
I'm Jacob, aka Capshotz.
and we are going to be talking today to you about the CDL playoffs that are upcoming. Some things I just wanted to talk to you guys about before we start. Um, all subs, donos, bits, everything like that, I will appreciate so much. All my follows and everything like that. But during the podcast, I won't be responding to any of them. After the podcast, absolutely. But beforehand, not so much. So with that, we are going to start, and we're going to start off right away. I mean, we're just going to get right into the meat of it, and we're going to talk about losers round one. It's a one and done. Loser goes home. I mean, this is big money. We got two matchups for this. First one we're going to talk about Paris and Seattle. Cap, what are you thinking here?
Paris and Seattle, man. Honestly, I'm taking Paris. I want to see Seattle win. I wanted to see Seattle win all year, especially with Karma and Octane being on the team.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Octane has been one of my favorite AR players to watch the past few years, especially his Sin and Optic was very, very huge and very, very cool. Karma obviously being one of the greatest of all time,
Absolutely.
but I just don't. This all year, it's been nothing but letdowns and just unfortunate events that have made their team just not what it should have been. I know they, kind of talked about being kind of just put together and being one of the kind of like throwaway teams for the year. But early in the year, they had high hopes. They were
Mm-hmm.
technically a top four team ranked, and then they fell off hard once side canceling came into it. Once more teams kind of caught up a little bit,
mm-hmm.
and it's just been really unfortunate to see, man.
Yeah, I feel that. I think it was you said Karma tweeted out before that this team it wasn't really supposed to be the team that was going into CDL. I think it was a bunch of guys that were trying to find other teams to play with, and then it ended up not working out. And obviously, it's we've seen the loss of Enable. He's been benched, and the retirement of Karma so much so that I mean the team's been played so bad that Karma retired. So yeah, so Paris is sitting at the 10th seed. They had a 10-16 regular season record, and Seattle sitting at the 11th seed with a 5-16 record. So between you can see how much of a disparaging level there is between 10-16 and 5-6. I'm sorry, and 5-16 for Seattle and Paris. It's insane. Um, so
I agree, man. I mean that it really shows, and in a lot of series, Seattle, like I said, since obviously switching to online, have been just thrown into the ringer in a lot of different situations. Like, go up 2-0 against the Atlanta FaZe, which is one of the biggest things. Nobody expected that. They expected a
mhm.
3-0 gone, see ya, losers, whatever. They go up 2-0, and then we end up waiting for 45 minutes to an hour, just twiddling our thumbs, which I'm hoping that never happens again. That's just unfortunate. Never should happen just because of an audio technical issue that's so far out of touch of game. Shouldn't be happening.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, so right now, as it stands in Hardpoint, for Paris, that is, sorry, for Paris. And just to remind our viewers, their roster consists right now of Denz, Kismet, Luca, Shox, and Zed. And Paris is ranked 10th in Hardpoint, 7th in Search and Destroy, and 10th in Dom. So their levels of where they're placing in these games in terms of win percentage, it's it's right where their regular standings are. Um, so the player that I think that needs to step up for Paris is actually Kismet. Excuse me. And the reason I say that is as I reach into my notes here, Kismet. I mean, this is gonna be fun to talk about because at the beginning of the year, Kismet was amazing. Paris was, like you said, like kind of thought to be like a kind of a throwaway team. Oh, these are gonna be easy wins against this team, and Kismet came in right off the rip and just went right to town. But right now, his overall KD this entire season is a .84, and he's actually Paris's lowest performing player. Now, question for you: do you attribute Paris's unsuccessfulness right now to the lack of play from Kismet, or is it something else that's going on?
So with Kismet being this, like you said, he started off so amazing. He started off so very well. When it came to the beginning of this season, you'd think, well, if he's going to keep playing like this, and I kind of remember watching the launch weekend, having him say, if Kismet's going to be playing like this, then Paris could be a top team. Paris could 100% be a top 4, top 6 team all year. And, he since then kind of fell off, especially online, which is kind of surprising to me, specifically for the people who on their team when it comes to people like Kismet and Dens. I mean, they're a lot better online. And I believe Dens has kind of improved a little bit, if I'm not mistaken, when it came to switching to online. Um, but I don't specifically, contribute it to only Kismet, and that's because they have such good players. I feel like Luca at any time, any of these 5 players can go off and have a really really good series, really good map to propel their team to a win in a map or a series. But I think overall, man, there just needs to be top 2 3 people that can really be more consistent than they need to be. Like while Kismet has had the lowest performing KD ever since launch weekend and stuff like that when it comes to Paris Legion, I think a lot of them just are just as inconsistent, even if by a few points. KD doesn't really show everything in terms of why a team isn't performing or isn't as successful as they should be.
Hmm.
They're a very consistent search team, very good search team. They
Absolutely,
make
yeah.
it close. They make it make it look completable
Especially as
and
of
make
late.
it absolutely, especially after London, they made it to the grand finals
Hmm.
versus Dallas, which they ended up losing 3-0. But
Yeah.
that I also specifically remember the second London event being very very weird, especially too. Like it was just all all sorts of different things were going on that ended up having Paris win and go to the grand finals versus Dallas, which I mean, I'll be honest with you, I tuned out too. That was one of the last tournaments I really watched, and seeing Paris versus Dallas as the finals, not really that eye catching. Gonna be honest with you, with Dallas being online complete
Yeah.
warriors, having the internet of the COD gods,
Yeah,
versus
literally.
playing a team who've been struggling all year. It just doesn't sound that great. But
Exactly.
I 100% think while Kismet may have not had the best stats on the team, I think it's definitely more of them that need to step it up. To be honest with you.
Absolutely. So moving on, before we make our predictions here, actually, I'm going to go ahead and put up our names here for us. There we go. And everybody, we're going to put our predictions, excuse me, right down there, and you'll see our who we're going to be picking here. But we're going to talk about Seattle next before we make our prediction. So again, Seattle 11th seed. They're 5-16, and their team consists of Octane, Slacked, Apathy, Pander, and Proto. And if you didn't know, Pander and Proto are replacing the former Enable and Karma on the roster. So they are currently ranked 11th in Hardpoint, 12th in S&D, but they're ranked 4th in domination.
Not surprising. It's kind of ridiculous to see. Just like you said, Paris for what their standings are in like the current game modes, you'd think, yeah, that makes sense. How they're in the 10th seed of the CDL, but you go and you see 11th in Hardpoint, 12th in S&D, which 1000% makes sense, and then you see 4th in Dom, and you're like, how the fuck is this even happening?
Right?
But I mean, all year, man, like their domination has always been so good. And I specifically remember one of the early tournaments when it was still on land and everything. Karma gets pulled up to the desk. He's drunk and whatever, and he's like, "I don't know. We're really good in Dom." He's all over the place, but they were really good in Dom. They had great Doms all year. And they sometimes blown out teams, kept it really close, and they're really good at clutching in Dom. But when it comes to S&D, they can never figure it out.
Yeah.
They have literally the worst S&D record by far. Quite honestly, obviously, if they're 12th in S&D, that makes sense. But
Yeah, in
they
fact,
very rarely made a competable S&D and made it close, pretty much. Besides maps against people like FaZe, which made no sense.
yeah, let me bring up I had it up here. It's going to be should be right here. Yeah, actually. Go back one. So, if we're yeah, oh my goodness. So, we go to team stats here, and all these stats are brought to you by codleaguestats.com. So this is where we're getting our stats. These are updated all the time. We were talking about search and destroy. Yeah, I mean, sweet Jesus, 41.9. I'm sorry, 41.09% win rate. I mean, wow.
I mean, it makes sense. I mean, if you look at the basic
I'm sorry.
concept of
I apologize. I'm sorry. That's round win percentage. They only have a 41% of winning a
yeah,
round. their actual win percentage is actually only 26.6%.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't.
not been pretty whatsoever, man.
Oh
Uh,
man.
their overall KD as a team, looking at from it's underscore Easy Mac on Twitter, which
Hmm.
huge guy for making all sorts of statistics around year round. Obviously, love the guy for doing that. It's really really cool to see.
Yeah,
Their
absolutely.
overall KD is a 0.89.
Oof.
Uh, Seeing that is tough, man. Like their average kills per round all year has been 3.47. So I mean, you're killing half the team, and like you're
And
kind of getting close to that fourth kill, which
you're still losing. I
that's
mean,
tough.
you're still just you're. Yeah. Let me. I mean, I don't know, man. I wish I could have seen Seattle play better, just because I enjoyed the initial roster that they had. I enjoyed it a lot. With Karma and the four fingered wonder, the one thumb wonder, enable. Um, I thought it was going to be awesome, but holy crap, it blew up in their face. Um, so
Honestly, it doesn't really surprise me, man. Seeing their S&D not be that good. I mean, it it should they realistically you'd think with people like Karma and Abel who have very good mindsets when it goes to playing S&D and very good leaders, you think, oh, they probably some creative search plays going on, but like, dude, half the year when they were playing Search and Destroy, no matter the roster, no matter what, and then they even tried on that one Ramaza search to throw in Pander in like place of Enable in the search in that series. I don't
yeah,
remember specifically who they were playing against, but I knew it wouldn't work, and I knew like that's another point we can touch on in a different time when it comes to having substitutes. But like, man, like that's just you're basically just throwing caution to the wind and saying, let's see what works at this point since we're so bad,
yep,
which I mean, it really proved to be the case because, like I said, they rarely competed in winning games
yeah,
when it came to Search and Destroy.
yeah. It's been abysmal to watch all season. Excuse me. So the next thing we wanted to talk about was the X factor, that if Seattle's going to do anything, who is that player that needs to step up? I chose apathy. I know that sounds cliche, and I know that a lot of people pick App, but I mean, just it's just proven. For some reason, he's like Patty P, except Patty P is not going to be competing this year for champs. But App is that veteran presence that Pander and that Proto need, uh, and this is his time. Playoffs. If Seattle's going to do anything at all, if they're going to make that magical run for $2 million, I think that breakout player needs to be App. Octane's already shooting his gun. Slacked is already shooting his gun. I really believe that it's going to be Pander's leadership that needs. I mean, I'm sorry. Apathy's leadership that helps Pander and Proto up their game. And once that happens, I mean, honestly, Seattle's a little scary. Not contender, not dark horse. I'm not going crazy, but maybe an upset team. Maybe scares a team and puts them in the losers bracket. You never know.
I think personally for me, I'm actually gonna not agree with the technical apathy point, and here's why.
Hmm.
So pretty much every year when it comes to apathy, he has a very very slow start, but as the game progresses, he slowly and slowly gets better. But when it comes to playoff and champs time, he is bar none the best player on his team. Now, especially for the past couple years, like World War II and stuff like that, when it came to that Sunday, when it came to that Saturday Sunday matchups in champs time, he is just 10 times better than he has been all year. A
Hmm.
completely different player. You genuinely think there's somebody else on the side of the controller. Now, for me personally, I think the player that needs to really break out is Proto. Now, he's that entry guy. He's the first guy in the fight. He's the sub that's in your face 24/7. Now, if he can make some plays and be really annoying on the map, like most of these entry subs are,
Hmm.
then I think they have, like you said, a really good chance of upsetting some teams and really kind of making them take Seattle more seriously. Um, Now I agree with the whole apathy veteran point, but to the same degree, there's people like Slack and there's people like Octane who, even in this time, are technically veterans now. Octane has been playing pro since Advanced Warfare, which to this point is what 5 6 years, I believe. Now
Yeah, I think so. Five
with
years.
Octane being the main AR too, like there's a big thing in the role. He has a video up which best ways to play AR or main AR role
Hmm.
in Modern Warfare, and his points are so valid. Like Octane has to manage so much on the map, which makes the main AR role seem a little bit more difficult than it seems to be than just sitting on head glitches and just basically sitting at one point throughout the entire map.
Right.
So for me, it's definitely going to be Proto. But I mean, to be fair, the rest of the team needs to stay just as consistent and progress a little bit more and be a little bit better throughout the entire tournament. Otherwise, they're out first.
Yeah. So just some history between Paris and Seattle. There's only been one previous meeting between these two teams, and it was during the Dallas home series at Game 5, Round 11, that Paris ended up sneaking the win away. And just so everybody knows, just a little bit of background in Seattle. Seattle's last appearance was the Toronto home series, and they were swept in 2 games. So good thing that they were playing from home, because that would have been a quick trip. They lost 3-1 versus Chicago and 3-0 versus Optic Gaming LA. So right now, as it stands, I'm making my prediction right now, and I am going to say Paris is going to win, and I'm calling it 3-1. I think that they are going to lose the first hard point. It's going to be close, but I think after that, I think Paris is going to tighten up and really really take it to Seattle. So, what do you got, Cap?
I'm gonna agree with you. I have Paris 3-1. I don't believe that Seattle are gonna be able to pull it off, man. I really want them to, and I really hope that they kind of shock the world,
Mm-hmm.
and actually take out the team like Paris. Paris could have been a better team all year, and Seattle should have been a better team all year. It's upsetting, but yeah, I definitely have Paris taking a 3-1.
Sounds good. Chat, what do you think? Do you agree with us? Do you guys have any questions so far? Remember, I'm more than happy to Cap and I are more than happy to answer questions if you guys have any questions during the chat right off the bat as well. Just wanted to say hi to everybody that's out there. Hutto, thanks for coming in. I appreciate you. Smash, what is up? Fly, I know you're in the shower. Thanks for stopping by. Rex says Chicago's the best. I'm gonna have to agree, baby. I'm sorry. That's just how it is. We biased out a bit here. That's just how it be, baby. I mean, we're gonna give you factual, statistics here, but I love Chicago. It's like Scott said, nah, OGLA. Navi, welcome. Meowth, welcome.
Weirdo,
Thank you
man.
so much for coming in. So there you have it. I feel like this time we're gonna start off with our predictions so that the predictions stand up there a little bit longer, so that you guys know what we're talking about. So we're going to go ahead and get rid of these now. And we're going to move on to the Optic Gaming Los Angeles Guerrillas Battle for LA, Battle of the Trash Cans, whatever you want to call it. Let me tell you, okay, hold on. Norcia said Seattle makes a 16 seed March Madness Cinderella run.
That'd be something, man. That'd be something.
That's quite bold. I will say that. That is a bold prediction there, Norcia. Do you have anything else to add to that?
No, that'd be really cool though. 100%. I'd love to see players like Apathy and Octane make that kind of run, but I don't know, man. I just don't think that's going to be very possible.
I mean, champs online, power outages, anything. I mean, shit, man, anything is possible. Oh man,
you're not wrong, dude.
So yeah, we're gonna go to Optic Gaming. We're gonna go to LA Guerrillas. Call this the Battle of the Trash Cans, Battle of the Dumpster Fires, Battle of LA, Battle of the 405, whatever the hell you want to call it. It's been rough for both teams. My God, it's been rough. Looks like it's online. Paris has a good shot of winning it. All right. Okay. Rex says you got it. Okay. Scott says Optic Gaming is winning champs. Wow. Okay. Well, then let me tell you why you're incorrect, sir. But just let me.
So here's my little thing on this. I want to kind of put in quick when it comes to this. Think of how funny this is. OGLA ends up playing the other Los Angeles team. So by the first day, there's only one Los Angeles team left. So regardless of who's going to win, there's going to be one left after the first day, which is hilarious to me. Which I truthfully did not expect at all once coming into this year. I'll be honest with you, but we can get into that. But I just think it's really funny how after one day, the game is going to be a lot different.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Zaidi says Blast is disgusting. Hutto and Trevin both say that Slasher is the GOAT. But here's the thing. I think we talked about this yesterday or the day before, but I was like, man, how bad do you think Hector's just laughing at what the brand has come to. I mean, we saw that video. The videos, I don't know, man. Let's get to the meat of the potatoes here. I could talk about Optic and a whole bunch of the players there, but there's two prior meetings this year, and they've split them. One was at the Chicago home series, and it was a 3-1 win by the Gorillas, and the other meeting was at the LA home series. I guess you could say is a bit more important, and that was actually a Game 5 win by Optic Gaming LA. So it's kind of split. Um, Optic sits at the ninth seed at 10-17. And in case anybody didn't know, it's TJ Haley, Slasher, Quavo, not Quavo, it's Quavo. My God. Hollow, Draza. And yeah, that's the same face that I give every time I hear Kenny's name too. And I wish I could just refer to him as Kenny because every time I hear Quavo, it just
Quavo.
it's literally just name yourself Quavo. But I don't want to get into that, man. Whatever.
You gotta like start DMing these like casters, be like, listen, man, it's not pronounced that way, please.
No, he did. You didn't see that?
No.
Yeah, no, he literally he said that his name is pronounced Quavo
I lost full.
because people were because like Maven was on the cast. He's like, oh, and here's Quavo. I'm not really sure. We're just gonna call him Kenny for right now. And then afterwards, they interviewed him, and he was like, oh no, it's pronounced Quavo. And I was like, yo, I've lost full. So, if you didn't know, Dashi basically benched himself, and Chino's been in, but JCap got benched, and so the new 5-man that's going into champs is going to be Draza Hollow, Quavo, Slasher, and TJ Haley. They're ranked at 9th and currently sit 8th in Hardpoint, 9th in Search and Destroy, and 9th in Dom. So their rankings on where they are per game is basically how they've been playing. For me, watching Optic and seeing the initial roster, like I said, which was JCap, Dashi, Slasher, Quavo, and TJ. I had high hopes, man. I was looking at this and I was like, yo, I'm not a big fan of some of these players, but I respect their skill, and like this team could be nasty. And oh my, it was quite the opposite, man.
We were so wrong.
I mean, they got nuked right away, and then they placed, I forget where they played, their highest placement yet. I think it was like 3rd, 4th place finish. And then they fucking sacked, they sacked Pac-Man. I don't know, man.
Yeah, they take Pac-Man off, and the next tournament they take Chino off after getting like another like top 4 or something like that.
I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense to me. But, you know, not my roster, not my call. I don't know. It was crazy. Wait until we start talking about Minnesota. I think I'm going to fry a lot of people with what I talk about with Minnesota. But here we go. I say the new kids in town, the S&D, it needs to be the hard carry for Optic right now because their S&D, they're sitting 9th out of 12. Dom is whatever, you know, 8th and Hardpoint. They're starting to make things close, but again, it's no more time for closeness. This is champs.
This is it, man. You have to finish it. You have to get across the finish line before the other team does. I mean, it's champs time. This isn't okay. We're improving. No, this is time to show that improvement. This is time to really show that you guys are the team.
Mm-hmm. Most recently, in their last home series tournament, they played in the Toronto home series. They finished 3rd, but like I said, prior to that, it's been very underwhelming all season. And if you want to talk about, you know, like we said, the crazy roster swaps. I mean, Dashi sitting himself, the level of skill that, that he has, and we literally saw it on display in BO4. He was E United's kryptonite for the longest time. I mean, you remember CWL Vegas? Oh my God, it was insane. Him as the Tempest was absolutely broken. Optic Gaming was the squad, and to see a player hate a game so much and play at such a par level and be upset with his play and bench himself after being nominated for Rookie of the Year, man, it sucks. I mean, it's a testament. I can't wait to talk about how bad this game is later on in the podcast because let me tell you, we're about to get some stuff off our chest, that's for sure.
You know, man, while this game is bad, it's just no excuse to really put yourself down as far as, yeah, like, you know, this game is really bad and I just can't like focus on it. Well, every game has their faults, especially these past few years when it comes to Call of Duty. And a player like Dashi, just being so young, with all these veteran players that are still able to go through it and able to still compete and be at a top performing level and actually stay up there. And for a player like Dashi to kind of just fall off the side of the fucking road when it came to playing this year. Like you can't just chalk it up to the game. It's just uncalled for. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
truthfully, that he has to push through it. It's the COD he's playing. It's the COD we're all playing.
Yep. Yep.
It's just something you have to go through, and especially being a top player, you are expected, and more than expected, you are basically like it's like yeah, like you're gonna do well, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
All year he
Absolutely.
just didn't have it, and especially after that last tournament that he played in, and he dropped like a point 0.6 and like a point like 3 or something like that in search. Like, I mean, that to be truthful, it was based off I believe 2 searches because they got 3-0'd and 3-1'd.
Yeah. But still.
But still, that's just you're playing like Dashy.
But
Like
if you're
you
playing like that,
last
you are
year
getting
were
3-0 and 3-1. So I
yeah,
mean.
absolutely. I mean, your Dashy last year on Search was your shit, and Search has been
Mm-hmm.
your shit for years and years. Like you've been playing S&D tournaments your whole fucking career, basically. That's how you became up,
Yep.
and you go to dropping like a point 0.3, point 0.4 in Search. That's just something you did not expect to see.
Absolutely. So I guess before we move on to the Gorillas, really quick, I want to make my pick, and just so that you guys can see it up on the screen, so you guys can hear why we're talking the way we are. I am actually just because hear me out. I'm actually going to pick Optic Gaming as the winner of this one. Who do you have?
I have Optic too. I have them winning 3-2.
Awesome. I actually have them winning 3-0, and I'll explain why after I talk about the LA Gorillas, who are sitting in, you guessed it, dead last, 5-15. Wow. Uh, Aqua, Decimate, Vivid, Blast, and Saints. My goodness. This is going to be rough, and let me tell you why. Currently, the LA Gorillas are sitting 12th in Hardpoint, 12th in Dom, but
But here's the
4th in
kicker:
S&D.
fourth in S&D.
4th in S&D. Yeah, see, Scott says easiest 3-0, WTF. Easiest 3-0 which way? Optic Gaming? Yeah. That's what I'm
No,
saying.
Optic
I
Gaming.
think it's going to be quick. For me, having Patty P on the roster, I mean, I mean, what they started off with Lacefield, Saints, and Patty P, Aqua, and Decimate, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep. Mhm.
And Patty P got benched, so did Lacefield, and then Saints got benched, and they brought in Vivid, Blast, and Spart, and then Spart got benched, and then they brought back Saints,
Yep.
and if we're looking at overall KD, um, I thought that I marked it in here, and I don't think I did. I mean, wow, I really don't. I don't. Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, a Spart and Aches both .73, .74 KDs. Ooh. Who am I looking for again? We're looking for Saints. That's right. Yeah, Saints .88. I mean, you're looking at this roster up and down. It's they don't have anybody in like the top 15 that are playing anywhere. I mean, their best rated player right now that we're looking at is man, it's Aqua. He's close to a 1.0, but nobody on their team is over a 1.0. I mean, they're struggling. Yeah, their S&D is nasty and they're so fun to watch, and it's insane. But like at the same time, they get blown out, bro. They have been the worst team in the CDL. I know Seattle has sucked. I get that, but
But they haven't been as bad as
they
LAG.
have not been as bad as LAG. And also, I think that they did Patty P dirty. I really do. I think that there could have been something done in order to fix that situation, but right now, LA's highest placement was at the Minnesota home series where they finished, I think it was fourth. But ever since then, they've consistently finished. I looked up their stats, I'm like looking at all, and it just says 11, 12, 11, 12, 11, 12, 11, 12, 11, and I'm just like, oh my, dude, when was the last time this team placed anything? Do these players actually like win at all? Like, what the hell is going on? So question for you then. I mean, you saw that the roster was changed many times throughout the entire course of the year. So, was benching Aches, Lacefield, and Spart? I mean, again, after bringing him in, because I know that he didn't start on the roster, but was benching
Mhm.
Aches, Lacefield, and Spart the smart decision while this team continues to struggle and sit at the bottom of the leaderboard?
Yes. I'm gonna explain why.
Okay.
Having somebody like Aches all year, while it has its benefits in terms of ways that you can become better and take the veteran standing, he has for a few years been consistently the worst person when it came to putting up stats. And he has his games, of course, but just not often enough to keep him on a starting roster. Now, especially in this game, whenever he competed in the first few tournaments like the launch weekend and stuff like that, he was
Mm-hmm.
very underwhelming.
Yep.
He did not play very well. I'm sure he had a large part in the specific plays and stuff like that they make, but you know, you can only take that veteran aches mentality, his attitude, because let's be honest, the guy has quite an ego and attitude about him for seemingly no reason. He won World War II champs. He won Ghost champs, but was he ever the star player? Not even a little bit. Did he have his maps, his series? Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
But he was definitely never that partaker in this is why they won this series. This is why they won this championship, whatever. He's been on winning teams before, but past few years, man, it hasn't looked good. So benching somebody like him makes sense. Give more fresh eyes to the thing, especially when you have players like Blast on the bench and stuff like that, who I believe truthfully has made an impact on this team. Obviously, being online as well, that's obviously going to make it like a step one because you're putting somebody like Blast and Vivid on your team who are online warriors who are so much better online. It, you're giving yourself a benefit having that happen, of course. And before, I mean, technically that happened before we ended up playing online.
Mm-hmm.
But ever since we played online, their KDs have like not skyrocketed, but they've vastly improved from what they were before. Now, having somebody like Saints, having somebody who is a veteran who can kind of put you on the right path of things you need to know, as well as Aqua. Aqua's been around too,
Yeah,
as far back
absolutely.
as AW and stuff like that too. He's
An
been
integral part of the Splice team that was
absolutely
what was that? BO4.
four
Yeah.
last year, and
I
then
mean,
even in AW, he was on a good team. Um, if I'm not mistaken, I may be.
he
He was on Team Revenge, I believe, for AW champs, unless I'm smoking pot, which I probably am, because I don't remember that fully well. But anyway, regardless, Aqua, like you said, is closest to the 1.0, which being an AR, which we can get to later, having him being an AR player, obviously your stats will look a lot better pretty much most of the time because you take the least deaths if you're playing your role correctly.
mm-hmm.
Um, but no, truthfully, I believe that Optic's still going to win this 100%, but it's not going to be as easy as you guys are trying to make it seem. And of course, the three maps, you guys will probably still be close for you guys, but I don't see them winning 3-0. I see, honestly, I end up seeing probably Gorilla steal a hard point and then probably steal the first search, and then have OGLA win the Dom. Which yeah, they're ninth in Dom, but having players like Hollow and Draws on their team, who are very strategic Dom players ever since we've seen them join the team, which I will fully admit. They don't put up the greatest stats and stuff like that, but man, when they're good on Dom, they're pretty good on Dom.
Yeah. When
So
they're hot, they're hot.
I definitely have them winning this match 3-2. But yeah, I definitely don't see that being as easy as people are making it seem.
I feel. Well, I like I said, everybody, I am picking Optic Gaming to win 3-0, but Cap is picking a little bit of a closer match with a 3-2 victory going still to Optic, going for the full 5 games. What do you guys think? Obviously, Scott says hashtag green wall. This is the easiest 3-0 yet. Norcia said opted out of the playoffs because of coronavirus concerns, aka has no confidence in the squad to do anything. Must be talking about Dashy. Yikes. Oh boy. So here's the thing. I mean, I'm just so we can before we move on to London and Toronto. I just I don't know what's going to happen next year, obviously, and we're going to get to that. We're gonna talk about that a little bit. But you look at the team of the LA Gorillas, and they're not on paper. They're not bad, but I don't know, man. I'm excited to see how it starts tomorrow. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm very excited to see. I'm kind of wondering how many upsets there are going to be. I'd rather right now at this point on some of my predictions that I have some absolute blowouts, and I hope that I'm wrong because I want to see some. I want to see some content. I
Yeah,
want to see
it's
some
playoff
games,
time, man.
baby.
You want to see some final COD. You want to see Modern Warfare get
I want to see some.
regardless of how bad it is. You want to see it get a little
Yeah,
send off.
yeah. Because if I'm gonna watch it, man, I want it to be damn good. So yeah, I want to see round 11 game 5s. I want to see the distance. I want my eyes to be vibrating as I'm watching the third match 6 hours into the stream, or the second match 6 hours into the stream. So okay, so now that we're moving away from the Optic Gaming And the LA Gorillas home series, we are going to move over to the Paris London series. And we actually had a question asked to us. I'm picking Toronto for this series. Cap, who are you picking for this series?
I'm definitely taking Toronto as well, especially after their last performance in the Toronto home series. You have to pick them. I mean, you really just have to have them being that team that's going to make a little bit of a run, regardless of their not so great seeding from this year.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So okay. So let's start it off with. There's only been one prior meeting between these two teams, and it was at the London home series, and it was a 3-1 London win. Um, I think that's a little bit skewed because although it was online, you just play different when you're playing for your home series. Look at the subliners, which we'll get to as well. Uh, you know, subliners have been very subpar all season, and they ended up absolutely smashing Chicago at the New York home series. London played very well at their home series. I know they didn't win it, but they played very well at their home series. So London, in case you didn't know, has got the Marshall twins, Wuskins and Scraps, Dylan, Shawnee, and Zero is the current roster as it stands. They are 7th in hardpoint, 5th in S&D, and 11th in Dom. So Dom for them is not really a focus, but as you can tell, they've really been working on their S&D. And I mean, like I'm saying, it's gonna be the Twins. It's gonna be the Twins that are gonna be the X factor. Wuskins, his sniper, it's got to be hot. When his sniper's hot, London is on fire. If he's anywhere but not on the map, they're gonna get absolutely blown out of the water, especially based on momentum. Um, I think that that a dark horse player, is somebody like Dylan, somebody who showed in Black Ops 4 that he's not just a nobody. I mean, look at Reciprocity. They went from being kind of quiet to near champs and playoff times, and near the end of the season they got really really good, really scary. So I think Dylan can also step up. And again, this team lives on momentum. Like, let's be real here. When you see London playing hot, it's because that they've been playing hot and they've been winning their games 3-0 or 3-1 and pretty convincingly. But when they're cold, my God, there's no in between, man.
It's pretty bad. No, 100%. Here's a little advanced statistic for you when it comes to the Ravens playing Search and Destroy. They have the number one most snipes out of every team in the CDL. It's not by a large margin, but it's there. It's noticeable, and you can look at it. They have 120. They have 129 snipes, and that's only second to Atlanta or only, I'm sorry, second to Atlanta FaZe. Atlanta FaZe has the second most at 113.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 16 less. And then before that, like most of these teams have like, let's see, I think Rocker has 68. But besides that, it's mostly around the 40s, 50s, and stuff like that. But
Mm-hmm.
the Ravens, like you said, if his sniper is hot, it's there. I
Yeah.
mean, it's there, and they're winning Search and Destroy. But the problem isn't their Search and Destroy. We know that they're fifth in Search and Destroy. It's their Dom, specifically their Dom. They can steal a hard point every once in a while in a series. So as long as they can steal a respawn, they win the series. I feel like.
I was gonna say them.
Now I actually have Toronto winning 3-2, but uh, Toronto. I mean not Toronto, but London has to be firing at all cylinders. Weskin, like you said, has to be hitting those shots. Has to be hitting every single snipe he
Mm-hmm.
possibly can. Regardless, if that doesn't happen, they might get smoked. It might be a little bit less of a close series than I want it to be.
Yeah. I mean, you look at Wuskin overall. I mean, the man is sitting second place because right now Octane and Skies are tied for first at a 1.26. So Wuskin's sitting in second right now with 1.24. And it's not like he hasn't played a lot of matches. The London Royal Ravens have played 100 maps. I mean, he's in terms of everybody else. Dallas has played 127. Atlanta's played 124. Sorry, 128. I'm sorry, Dallas played 128. Uh, Atlanta played 124. I mean, New York's played about 100. So you're looking at about normal range here, and his stats across the board. I mean, 1.2 in the hard point, 1.2. I'm sorry, 1.23 in the hard point, 1.2 in the search, and 1.24 in Dom. He's not only killing on the field, but he also has the least amount of deaths contributing to his team. So I know that sounds like, oh well, then duh, he has to be the X factor. Well, yeah, but when it comes down to it, when the shit's on the line, this is this is the time to step up. This can't be a time where, okay, well, my sniper shots really aren't hitting this time around. We'll get them next time. There is no next time. You either hit them now or you're done. So the Marshall boys got to be on top of it. I have confidence in them. I do. I don't know if I have confidence in the other three, and that's why I'm picking. That's why I'm picking Toronto.
Now, my reasoning for picking Toronto is a little bit different. Weskin, as being the main AR, and especially the first few tournaments of this year, being on land and everything like that, he was bar none the best player in the game. For the first 3 or 4 events, he was incredible. Was putting up double positive stats, going like 44 and whatever, like absolutely having monster games. No matter the mode, no matter the map, he was having great series. Now, for me, they changed a little bit. They brought on Zero, and Zero, since joining the team, has definitely improved them drastically. They went from getting kind of blown out in series to having a lot closer series, a lot closer games. Um, for me, I think it has to be Dylan. Dylan at the beginning of the year was like just picking up right after he had destroyed in BO4 on
Mm-hmm.
Reciprocity. He was a great submachine gun player, a great player who would just throw a smoke and then just run into it and
Yeah.
be the most annoying person on the entire map. Now he had those times, but for whatever reason, it wasn't working as easy. People were catching on to his bullshit. Basically,
Yeah.
he would throw the smoke and people would just run right into it and fucking kill him. I
Yeah.
mean, that's really how it was. They weren't making it easy for him to just run around and do whatever he wanted anymore. And ever since that happened, he hasn't really been there. He hasn't really been on the map too much. And when he's on there, he's basically just dying, and it's a repeat order. He dies, throws the smoke again, dies, throws the smoke again, and then it's just a repeating cycle. He's not having these really great series, not having the things that he needs to be doing to propel this team to like another level.
Mm-hmm.
You have a player like Shawnee who can flex pretty well and play that secondary AR role, but you also have somebody like Scraps who can do just the same, just the amount of damage. So obviously, for me, I'm 1000% sticking Scraps on the second AR like they kind of did in the past event and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because Scraps and Weskins as a dual AR, it's very good. For me, it isn't just solely Dylan that has to get on there. It's Dylan for me, and Scraps has to be more consistent. He has his really good games, his really good series, but he needs to have a good series, bar none. He cannot slip up on any game modes. Him, Weskins, and Dylan need to propel this team into a different squad. Zero needs to keep doing what he's doing. Shawnee can even keep doing what he's doing. He has like the best deaths, I believe, as far as um most of his games. He has like the least deaths besides a few different games and stuff like that from what I watch.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it's those 3 players. If those 3 players can go off the entire weekend, they have a chance of making a run. I won't lie, but I just don't believe they can do that. So I believe Ultra's gonna win 3-2.
Mm-hmm.
London's probably going to win the Dom and probably going to win. Not the Dom. I'm sorry. They're going to win a search. They're going to win a hard point, and then after that, it's 3-2 Toronto. I just don't think London's going to have the chance to do it this year.
So it's funny that you bring that up because actually we have our first question that is pertains now. So we had at Twitter we had at filthy TTV. He asked, "Do you think the London Royal Ravens will have a good chance at making a good run in playoffs?" And you just explain why you you know the needs that they are gonna have to the steps they're gonna have to take in order to become successful. Um, and it's hard to disagree with you. I mean, just roll it back again. This team is definitely momentum based, and so if they start slow, it's really not gonna look good. Luckily for them, they are in winners round one, so they get a second chance if they end up somehow scuffing the bird and losing to Toronto, and then they're going to the losers final. I mean, sorry, into the losers bracket, which is
Mm-hmm.
that's fine. But again, they gotta come out strong if they have any chance, and that's why I think I'm picking Toronto because now we're gonna go in Toronto. They sit at the seventh seed, 11-13, um, and they have Methods, Cammy, Bance, Kleenex, and Classic. Now, everybody knows that the Toronto Ultra were the first team to have a full stacked out 10-man roster, which was absolutely banana sandwich. Let's be real.
And still the only team to have that too.
Yep. And there's some top end talent that has not seen the screen in months. Um, in fact, if I'm not mistaken, Brack hasn't seen it at all, which makes zero
Yep.
sense. And Looney was
Brad
benched.
hasn't seen it.
Yeah, and Looney was benched fairly early on as well. So right now, like I said, Methods, Cammy, Bance, Kleenex, and Classic, they're sitting ninth in Hardpoint, sixth in S&D, and seventh in Dom. So their stats have been getting better mostly because of their most recent finish, which was their win at the Toronto home series, where they ended up beating out Atlanta FaZe. Um, you know, interesting. Interesting. Methods went off. He hard carried. Uh, he needs to continue to be that X factor. I'm picking. Methods. I feel like right now he's kind of like the lifeblood of that team. He's hilarious on Twitter. He's active on Twitter. He's making videos. He's playing with other pros. He's being funny. He's making silly videos. He feels like that guy that is the heart behind the Ultra, and it came through in the grand finals and in the Toronto home series where he was the MVP. I mean, he went into full Chef Ziti mode and full Chef Zen mode. There we go, and went off. So the team has seen its fair share of roster changes. Like I said, Metals and Looney have both been benched. Classic, if I believe, has been swapped a few times, and now Kleenex is permanently in. Um, and they're poised to continue to make a hot run in the playoffs, which is again why I have them beating London. Yeah, even Zaidi says they're a top 4 team right now. I I don't know if I would put them into being a top 4 team. Are you talking about a top 4 team for playoffs, or are you talking about a top 4 team right now? Like they've been a top 4 team and now they're good, and like they can place, or what? Cheers, cheers, laddie. PMAX says best podcast ever. I appreciate that, PMAX.
Shoot, it's
It's
only halfway through episode 1. Love
yeah.
that.
Oh, we're not even halfway. I think we're only on the
Mm-hmm.
second game, aren't we? Or
Third,
we're on
I
the
think.
third game. We're about to move to the fourth game. Um, but I don't know if I would classify them as a top 4 team. I would say they're fifth.
Yeah, I'd say five, 6 is my personal opinion. I
Mhm.
believe there's some teams that just have a little bit of an edge over them. I don't know. I think that hardpoint is really going to be the killer for them. They're good in hardpoint. I mean, they're good in Dom. They're good in S&D, but I still think they're not to the very tippity top where they're going to be that number 1, that top 4, I should say.
I agree. Yeah, I mean, right now, what we got here? I mean, yeah, 50% win rate in Dom for Toronto. Yeah, they're gonna really really have to rely on. Oh, man, I mean, yeah, they're gonna have to rely on S&D because they're not a very good hardpoint team. So, uh,
But still,
Toronto.
a 50% win percentage in hardpoint is nothing to really bat an eye at, though. It's still not necessarily that bad. While it may be ninth, the 50% win percentage is definitely not bad whatsoever.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Zaides asked, "Did you answer questions already?" We've only answered one question so far. I did want to point out, though, Zaides, your question about that we're going to get to about Octane is actually it got me very excited. It actually got Cap and I very excited because it's a damn good question. I can't wait to
It
talk
is.
about this. So I hope that you stick around the whole time because we are going to get to your question, and there's going to be a lot of time spent because I think we're going to really dive deep into that one. So just to wrap this up again, prediction wise, I'm saying Toronto wins 3-1 just because they're on a roll, and I see them just being able to handle London fairly easily.
Yeah, I have them winning 3-2. I still think it's gonna be a very close series, close maps. London, whenever it comes to backs against the wall, sometimes they can be very, very pushy, and they'll push back as much as
Mm-hmm.
they need to kind of do what they can to try and get a win. So
Mm-hmm.
I believe it's gonna be a 3-2, but ultimately, I think Toronto is gonna end up upsetting them.
Sounds good. All right, we're going into the next match of winners round 1, which is going to be the New York Subliners versus the Minnesota Rocker. And this is where things are going to get spicy because I've had this conversation with many people. I can't wait. I think we've talked about the Subliners. I've talked to to Stage about the subliners. I've talked to Jamal about the subliners. Minnesota is going to be fun to talk about as well. But right now we're gonna start off 2 prior meetings between these 2 teams, and both were gigantic victories in favor of the New York Subliners, 3-0 and 3-1. Just it's important to know that. Currently, they're 4th in hardpoint. They're 11th in S&D, and they're 8th in Dom. So at the top of the road for hardpoint, near the very, very bottom, which everybody knows they've had their S&D struggles for some reason. We're not really sure why, but they've been struggling. And they've been kind of falling off in Dom, which, at this point, it's not really that important. Unless you're splitting games every series. But in this one, just so you guys know, I have New York winning this one. Oop, let me.
I do too. I have them winning 3-1 actually.
You have them winning 3-1. Okay. So I have them winning 3-2. So let me get rid of the Toronto, and I'm gonna pick. I'm gonna pick. I like how we're picking the same, but we're not picking it for the same reasons. I do like that. So, New York is the 5th seed at 13 and 17, and that team is Zuma, Temp, Accuracy, Attach, and Mac. They have been very, very middle of the road. Let's be real here. Minus their home series versus Chicago, New York has not been great, but they also haven't been bad. Zaidi says 3-0 Rocker. I'm going to have to wholeheartedly disagree with you, and it's because of one roster change that they made that pissed me off, and I'm not even a Rocker fan, but I'll tell you why after. So they started, just so to let you know, New York started this year 2-9 in their first 11 matches. And
I believe they were 0-3, 0-4 before they even touched a win. They were
map count,
they were the most. Oh yeah, they didn't win a single map for I
Yep.
believe 2, 3, even close to 4 series. I think they stole a game even, like it wasn't even that good, but shit, people were calling for just like, please win a fucking map. It's like you have 5 really great Call of Duty players and people like Zero, and the rest of the roster, and you're like, they can't win a map. Like, they're getting blown out. Like that just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah,
But, they've gotten a lot better, and there's definitely reasons why that are a lot more than just roster changes for sure.
So they have ended in the last 11. They're 6-5. So again, like I said, middle of the road. Win, over 500%, but just barely. They've made one large change this season, sending Zero to London and bringing in. At first, they played Happy, and Happy didn't really work out, and then they brought in Mac Melts, and Mac has been a huge addition to the Subliners team, but unfortunately, he can't do everything for them. So, I would say that I'm still going to sit on New York winning this 3-2. I know that the previous match has been blown out, but I feel like they're gonna sneak this one by, and here's why. Minnesota sits 8th right now. They're 12 and 16. Silly, Assault, Alex, Asim, and now Exceed. Plus GodRx was slowing down with it going online. His stats are decreasing.
That was actually gonna be one of my points. One of my heavy points is gonna be the fact that GodRx, since going online, has been so underwhelming, and like the drastic changes happened every single tournament. It was just down.
I will challenge that only because he is one of the highest performing players on that team and in one of the worst game modes that they have. Right now, in the worst game mode that they have. They are 6th in hardpoint, 10th in S&D, and 6th in Dom. Yeah, that's what I like about you. Listen to this. So, in my opinion, it's a very, very... I might talk for a little bit on this one, so just so you know. In my opinion, it's a bold move. Benching GodRx in place of Exceed. I understand that it's online. But listen, before GodRx got benched, his overall KD was a 1.1. Which was a 1.11, which is the highest performing kill-death ratio on the Minnesota Rocker. He also far exceeded as one of the top S&D players in the league, not just on Minnesota, but in the league, sitting at a 1.25. To bench him and his experience, in my opinion, for Exceed, I know it's online, but you listen. Exceed has played 5 maps with the rocker, 5 total maps. He has a .72 KD, and he's sitting at a .66 in hardpoint, a .43 in S&D, and a .72 in Dom. So he did not have a very good showing. Again, I know it's 5 games. I know it's 5 games, but am I benching God RX or Assault? No, I'm benching a Seam.
Neither.
I'm benching a Seam, and
I
and
wouldn't bench a seam either.
if you have to bench somebody, because it's almost like there's no choice here. If you have to bench somebody, I'm benching a Seam. He's just been very middle of the road all season. He has not been that player for Minnesota to make those big standout plays that he was making sometimes with FaZe last year.
I'll agree with that.
I haven't
And
seen it.
here's why. While he still may be a middle of the road player, he is their IGL. He's the one that's making the plays, coming up with the reasons why their surge works so well. He's setting up players like GodRX up to succeed with a sniper, and throwing the smokes and putting them in places that it's going to be annoying for the other team, but so beneficial for their team. Like, I mean, while a team may be not necessarily the greatest, I think you have to take out somebody like Silly, regardless of his veteranship. He
Oh yeah,
is,
yeah.
in my opinion, the most underwhelming of the starting five. Taking out a player like Assault,
You
or
can't. You
even like
can't.
you said, GodRX, and GodRX, to be fair, in the overall stats, yeah, it looks pretty good. But you have to also have to take into account that his KD before going online was incredible. It was a top 5 KD. Now it's still, I think, a top 10, like top 15 maybe KD,
Top 10
but
right now. Yeah.
yeah, like it even then while it's still top 10, if it stayed on LAN, I believe he's a lot better player, but also when it comes to times like champs and stuff like that, he does not perform. He's a very underwhelming player when it comes champs time, when it comes playoff times, he's not very consistent or very good or beneficial to a team. So I can understand where that kind of move comes in, but I still don't bench somebody like him because like you said, his search on the list of
Gross at search.
um on the list of snipes, their team is third. The Rocker are third in like snipes per search games, not
Mm-hmm.
per search games, but overall like kills with a sniper.
Right.
And
Right.
those are all pretty much, if not all of them, his kills. So his ability to open up a map with a sniper has been very very good. But the problem is, the same degree, once going online, he, bar none, has been one of the worst performing players. I mean, while not still being a very bad player, but the transition, he didn't transition well at all. I'll be honest with you, he was not a good player once they came online. I mean, he was a huge reason I feel like they weren't really succeeding because he wasn't having those crazy games anymore. And I think he's a player that kind of revolves around like the hype of a series and stuff like that. And you see like the opening launch weekend in Minnesota, he was going off because most people were going for him. But even then, ever since going online, they have not been able to perform that well. And I mean, a roster move was needed, but GodRX was probably the most shocking. But I think it was more of a team decision than basically one person going, yeah, this needs to be done, unfortunately. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I definitely don't take out somebody like GodRX or Assault. They're both too way beneficial in their respective rights. I think at that point, like I said, I think the only real person to take out is Silly. Silly's not that jump out person where, as Alex, Asim, Assault, and GodRX have their big like things that really make them worth having on a roster. Somebody like Silly, I'm sure he has input and stuff like that, but I just don't see him being like the biggest reason why they succeed and or fall.
Okay. I have. I mean, I guess before we get into the X factor here, I am. Minnesota was the team that was looking to take the league by storm, especially being that opening team. They finished third uh, at the launch weekend. They third in Atlanta, second at LA and Dallas, but right after that, that's when the wheels came flying off. They finished fifth and sixth at Florida and Seattle. And at Minnesota, New York, and Toronto, it was seventh, eighth, and eighth respectively. It literally went down. It kept going down. So I understand that a roster change needed to be made. Totally, totally, totally understand that. But again, like we just talked about, we don't have to rehash it. But I just don't know if GodRX was the right move. So now, because of that move, I'm placing Exceed as my X factor. They made the
Yeah,
move to
right. It
bench
has to be.
somebody. Yep, they made the move to bench somebody like GodRx. Then fine, this guy with the roster that you had beforehand and the place that you're in, they're sitting in eighth, not really that high, but they've been a top 5 team most of this year. If you're going to replace somebody like that, this guy's got some big shoes to fill. So
Absolutely.
that he's for me, he's my X factor. But I'm going to still go back to the subliners are going to win it 3-2. I think it's going to be close, but I don't think I think it's going to be a very long series.
I'm still gonna stick with the 3-1. Truthfully, I believe the subliners ever since they made that move to put Mac on the team, and then ever since the meta kind of changed this to AR three subs mainly, I think it's benefited them drastically. Mac obviously a great online player and stuff like that. Haven't even seen him on LAN, which coming next year I think it's gonna be a little bit tough. I think it's gonna be a little bit tough to see him on LAN because it's not gonna transition that easily.
Yep.
His ego that he's kind of grown and kind of gotten from playing online is it's bold. It's very fucking bold, man. Um, but I will admit he's a good player. He's a great fit for that team, and is what they needed. They needed a sub playmaker, and they fucking got one, man. They got a great player in Mac, and he's gonna help them win that game. But I'm gonna actually agree with you when it comes to making the X Factor exceed for the Rocker. If the Rocker want to win, and Exceeds has all eyes on him as far as Rocker fans.
Yep.
And I know Jordan or Silent Shots, man, he loves GodRx. He loved what do you call it? He loved the Rocker because of GodRx and stuff like that. And to watch him get really pissed off, like he was very, very pissed, and rightfully so. I'll agree
Hmm.
with it. I'll agree
Yeah,
with it
yeah.
now for who they replaced him with, man. It's fucking bold to do something like that. But yeah, all eyes are on Exceed. If they want to pass and they want to get past this round versus a team like New York who've went from literally dead last to top 5 in the matter of like 2.5 months. And that's
Yeah.
pretty fucking incredible, man.
Mhm.
Um, like you see fucking Minnesota being sixth in hardpoint and sixth in dom, which I think those modes can go either way. I think like obviously New York's gonna probably win the search, and I think the one map that Minnesota's gonna win is probably gonna be Dom. To be honest with you, even though recently New York has gotten a lot better at Dom the past like month and a half
Yep.
when it comes towards champs time, but I think that'll be the map that Minnesota takes, and still 3-1 subliners.
Okay. So now we're gonna get into the whew, we're gonna get into
The
some meaty
fucking meat of it.
matchups.
The
Oh
fucking
yeah.
meat of it,
We
dog.
we got we got some fire matchups. So now that we've covered the losers rounds and the first winners rounds, we're gonna be moving now to the winners round 2 rosters and matchups because there are some teams we haven't covered yet, and one of those teams is that first matchup in winners round 2, which is gonna be the Chicago Huntsmen versus the New York Subliners. But since we've already talked about the Subliners, we're going to talk about the Chicago Huntsmen. Chicago Huntsmen are sitting in 4th place overall in the standings, 21-9 record. Scump, Formal, Arcides, and the Sanderson twins, Alec and Pristini, make up the roster. They're currently sitting 1st in Hardpoint, 3rd in S&D, and 3rd in Dom. They are nasty. It's no doubt. But as a Huntsman fan, I mean, as Huntsman fans, we know this team has had its struggles all year. Back in the gunless times, and I mean, even most recently when they picked up Preston. It hasn't been perfectly smooth sailing all the way around. It's been great, but it hasn't been amazing. We need amazing. As Huntsman fans, we need amazing. And obviously, I've got Chicago, and so does Cap. That's just no Cap. We're obviously
Obviously.
picking. We're I mean, for
I
for
mean, this realistically, this isn't even like a biased opinion either. I think they are an amazing team, man. I mean, I literally grew up watching players like Scump and Formal like lead the Optic Dynasty, lead in top 5 KDs for every game they've played, in most of these games they've played. Like even Chase says, online isn't the same land they win. I agree. Like I mean, in a lot of the problems they've been having changes because of land. Players like Scump and Formal and even the twins fucking feed. They feed off the energy of the crowd. I
Yep.
mean, it's kind of rightfully so. They've been on teams like United and Optic, who've been huge fan bases for the past few years. So obviously, putting T2P in the twins, not. I mean, obviously, there's
Scraps and
the
Watkins.
Watkins
Yep.
Scraps, right? But the Twins in our season Pristini, like putting those two teams together, like those duos together, you'd think lights out. And putting obviously somebody like
They live.
Envoy on the team, putting somebody like Envoy on the team who is so kid's 20 years old. Okay,
Yeah,
I am
just turned 20 years
just
old.
turned 20 this year. 20. The kid is 20 and he's leading these veterans, not just these players, but these fucking veteran, amazing top 10 players of all time, arguably, like in our city's scump and formal. Pristini being a very underrated player, but I don't think he'd crack a top 10 to be fair. But
Not
those
quite. Not quite.
that trio of players like are some of the greatest to ever play the game, ever touch the sticks, ever be on Call of Duty. Putting somebody like Envoy who is so smart and he's able to just lead, like him and RC's like watching them kind of go back and forth and plow with the sender as they practice, as they get better. And it's obvious champs time. They haven't been streaming and stuff like that, so I think they're gonna have an advantage in that. They've been playing a lot more search, a lot more hardpoint, a lot more dom
Yep.
off stream. They have stuff that people don't see anymore. They don't have any more VODs to look at, which is good. I love that. I think that's going to be a very good thing towards them, but I also think it's going to be, I don't know, man. It's going to be very good for him, but there's also chances that it could look bad. But like, yeah, just like Chase said, Scum. Wait, what the hell? What does that even say?
What?
Scump and champs. This is my
Oh,
element.
Scump and
Yeah,
Champs. This is
it
this
says
is my element. Yeah. I mean, I want the Huntsmen to win, but again, they have to show up and play. And we've already seen the Huntsmen and the Subliners play once, and it did not end very well for the Huntsmen. In
a few
fact,
times. I mean, that technically the Friday before, the Saturday before they played, they 3-0'd them or 3-1 them, I believe. Like they smacked they smacked
mhm,
fucking New York around. It was easy. It looked like a completely different thing. They play the same three maps and they lose. They make it
I
close.
got
They threw the hard point. I remember watching that with you, man. They threw the hard point entirely. They threw that Ramaza hard point away. They just
that one was hard to watch, man.
It was
The
100%
Ramaza hard point made no sense, bro. I was watching that game, and I was literally grabbing my shorts and just pulling on them, like trying everything I can to just tear them with how angry I was watching that. I was like, bro, you guys had that. You had that 100% for the last 2-3
yeah, and
points.
then like rewatching it because I always like to rewatch why they lose because obviously I'm a fucking nut for the Huntsman, dude.
Hmm.
So I go back and rewatch it and I figure out somehow New York gets the spawns in the back at the last P5 hill, changes the game entirely,
Great
makes the
spawns, yeah.
game 10 times easier for them. Which I mean, it's spawns, you have to deal with it, but
I
that's
mean,
the reason
yeah.
they lose that. The
Yeah.
search, it looked like a blowout. It was like what, like 5-1, 5-2, but then it sort of come back a little bit, made it like 6-4. So I mean that also could have been other change their way if they do a few different things.
Hmm.
Dom, once it got to the Dom, man, I just knew that they've been struggling in Dom. There's no secret of that. They've been struggling so much that not gonna be winning a Dom.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, man, I literally have
I don't know. Yeah.
um, I have Huntsman winning 3-2 over the Subliners,
Same. Yep.
and
I have the Huntsman winning three
Dom
two.
not being one of them.
Yeah, I think the Subliners are going to take it all the way because they'll be coming off of that match with the Minnesota Rocker.
Now, to be fair,
Literally,
it'll be I believe the first match of Thursday. So that's also not a good sign for the Huntsmen either. If they're the first match that's getting played, they tend to struggle a little bit, man. Oh, I'm
it's
sorry, they play their first game on Friday versus New York,
okay.
but that's not really a good thing when they're the first team on the jump, to be honest.
Yeah.
So I think that's another reason I think they're going to be winning 3-2. I think the first map is going to look a little dull. Search, well, they'll be a little bit close. I think they'll win the search, lose the Dom, win that hard point, win the second search, and then they'll be fine. Like Phoenix said, Huntsman win if they stay
Yeah.
hot and start hot and stay hot, and I agree with that fully, 100%.
Yeah.
Brissini, if he starts hot and his
Dude,
teammates start hot, obviously, then
if
that team will be lights out, and that team will be breezing a lot farther than we think they will.
if Preston's on his bullshit, Chicago is winning champs. I mean, is winning the playoffs. That's it. Because we've seen Preston hot. When Preston's dropping a 1.2, Preston is the hard carry. So yeah, Chicago and the Subliners are who we have. What do you guys think? I'm gonna while I'm while I'm minimizing these here.
So actually, on another little side note
Yeah,
there
yeah, yeah.
when it comes to it. Oh, I actually scrolled a little bit too far, I believe.
Preston is hard because he plays
Um,
bait, so he's either two piece or dead instantly.
yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that was the same way that he was on E United as well. He
But
was
I mean, even
entry.
then, whenever
Well, so
champs
was
came around,
Abizi. No, Abizi was entry.
playoffs and champs came came around. Preston was playing out of his fucking mind. Whenever that Sunday came around, if the other four can just get him to that Sunday, the same way that they did with Karma on the Optic Dynasty, get Preston this Sunday, he's gonna do some fucking magical things for you. He's gonna
Holy.
be fucking basically setting you up to win a fucking trophy. So, yeah, like, I mean, Preston is he's the key factor, 100%. As long as he can stay stay up, I think we're valid for the
I
Huntsman new winning champs here.
I have Preston as my X factor. So, um, all right. So now we're gonna move on to another new team that we haven't talked about yet. Florida Mutineers versus the Toronto Ultra, and obviously I'm not even gonna. I mean, who who do you have, Cap? Who do you have?
Winning, I have obviously the Mutineers.
You have the Mutineer. Okay.
I have the Mutineers because recently I know they've been a little bit through a rough patch and stuff like that, and they haven't been blowing people out like they kind of did at the beginning of online, where they won 3 of the 4 tournaments. But I mean, you have a player like Awakening on the team who is arguably an online player just as much.
Mm-hmm.
You have players like Pharaoh, Havoc, Skies. I mean, you have players who are so comfortable at home, and especially players like Skies or an AR like Skies who is so fucking good at what he does. I mean, like, I had never
Yes, and
really
that's the
realized it
truth.
until last year in BO4 when he was on LG at the end of the year.
Oh
But man,
yeah,
he is so fucking good at what he's doing on the map, and it's so much
nasty.
fun to watch.
Yeah, I have Florida too. Um, no, I don't. No, I'm sorry, I read that wrong. I actually have Toronto. Yeah, that's right. I do have Toronto. You know why? Where is I lost give me 1 second, everybody, because I lost the page that I had before.
You fucking believe this
Do
guy?
Yeah, I know, right? It's banana sandwich. Um
This is unfucking believable.
I know. I'm Yeah, I do. I have them going 1-1 in the tournament. That's right, I did. Holy. How am I going to back this one up? Sweet Mother
Oh,
Mary. All right, here we go. There we go. Now we don't agree on something. But here's why. You said it's because Florida's, hot right now. That they're going to win. But I'm going to make the same argument for Toronto. Yes, Awakening and Pharaoh are both absolute, or in Skies are all three of them are nasty. But we just recently saw Awakening start to slow down last tournament. Obviously, Skies and Pharaoh are still frying, but Awakening did show signs of being a little immortal. I mean, I'm sorry, a little mortal. It can be wounded, can be stopped, can be walled. And so I'm thinking Toronto is playing who London? I'm sorry, is that who they're playing first? Yeah, they're
yes.
playing London, and again, if they can just sweep through London, I got a good feeling it's gonna go. I mean, I have it as a 3-2 with Toronto beating Florida, but I I gotta stick with Toronto. I don't know why. I don't know what it is. It's nothing. Florida's not pissing me off or anything. I see somehow a choke, an unlucky play, a miscue, a miscommunication somewhere that's going to end up doing more harm than they think, and I think it's just going to do them in, especially against a team like Toronto, which they might be going in thinking, yeah, 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 we could do this. I mean, Florida for the longest time was the top team in the league. I mean, for a little bit of time was the top team in the league. Top three. They still are. They're third. They're 20-12. They're disgusting. Havoc, Skies, Frosty, Pharaoh, Awakening. Third in Hardpoint, 8 in S&D, and 5 in Dom. Um, I mean, pretty easy when you win 3-1. You don't really have to play that many S&Ds. So their S&D sitting in 8th is not that really big of a deal. Um, Pharaoh and Awakening have turned Florida into a powerhouse, but again, I just don't see it happening for Florida. Prove me wrong, Florida. I'm sure that somebody will be pissed off after watching this and listening to me flap my
No,
jaws about
I
Florida.
mean I'm not necessarily pissed off, but I don't believe Toronto has what it takes to beat them, and especially Florida having the advantage to basically wait a day. Toronto has to play the first day. They get to figure out what their weaknesses are, what players are struggling, what players aren't going to be as hot, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Florida's going to have the opportunity to look at them and be like, okay, so we can take advantage of this and ban this map or pick this map to kind of throw them off their game, kind of take them off of what they need to be doing. Now, what's going to be so good to watch this series, it's going to be Skies versus Methods. That's my two. Whichever player plays better, I think it's gonna be that team that takes it. I fully believe with whichever AR is watching over is gonna be the winners of the game. To be honest with you, I fully still think that Sky is gonna outperform Methods. To be honest with you, but I don't know, man. I think
I think Skies is
Sky's
going to
a better
outperform.
map.
I think Skies is going to outperform Methods, but I think that I don't know. I feel like Toronto's just going to
My
just edge
thing
them
is
out.
with Toronto, who's going to be able to stop people like Awakening and Pharaoh? Who's going to be matched up to them so well that they're not going to be doing as well?
I mean,
Like, you know what I mean? Like
yeah.
that's kind of like a good it's a good thing to do. Like if you can put up Skies and Methods, that's pretty head to head, you know, especially in terms of like how the game is right now. It's pretty good head to head in terms of maniars, and you have players like Awakening and Pharaoh who are good with whatever the fuck you put in their hand. Let's just be fucking honest with that. Thing is, what does Toronto have? Who are those players that are gonna help propel them to that win?
Yeah, exactly. Uh, Kleenex and Methods and Cammy if he can. I mean, Cammy if it's big if game. So yeah,
I'm not in any way am I downsizing the talent that's on Toronto. It's the fact that how good the players on Florida have been and like how so few people have been able to shut those players down in terms of being able to beat them.
yeah.
And I just don't think that Toronto's going to have what it takes to actually do it.
Interesting, interesting. Okay, well, with that winners round two, that is going to propel us directly into the losers round two matchups and predictions. And because we've already gone through rosters and um, in-depth analysis of each team, this is kind of when things are going to start to pick up a little bit more. I know we haven't talked about Atlanta and Dallas. Don't worry.
We're getting there. Don't worry.
We are getting there. We are trying. We're
Not two teams. They don't have to fucking play until Saturday. So.
yeah, that's why that's why we're talking about them last. So,
Yeah.
Rocker OGLA losers round two. I said, oh, let me hide this really quick. Let me hide my Toronto, and I'm gonna hide your Florida. Well, first of all, what do you think? We got Rocker and OGLA. Who do you have?
I have OGLA winning 3-1.
You have Optic Gaming winning 3-1. You have some big nads. You see that? I got Minnesota. 3-1 victory. Oh, no, I don't. My God, I read that incorrectly. Ha ha ha! Sorry. Yep, give me that face. Hey, it's episode 1, man. There's going to be some hiccups on the road. My notes, listen, everybody. I have 8 pages of notes here, and they are sometimes a jumbled mess. Like, it's mostly in order. Cap's looking at it right now. Mostly in order, but there's a lot. And I wrote like I'm a 16th century Shakespearean fucking writer. It's insane. I wrote like an idiot. So I said a 3-1 victory as Minnesota sent home after just 2 matches. Shut the hell up, Zach. We're gonna try that again. So Minnesota's getting sent home. Optic Gaming's gonna win 3-1. I agree with you. It's gonna be a close match. Like the maps are gonna be close, but it's not gonna work out.
I agree. I mean, especially after them, I believe losing to no, actually they've been losers. I remember. Okay, so they've been losers, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, so I'm getting
we're in
troubled by
losers
this
round
damn
2.
shit. Yeah, they fucking wait. Then when did? Oh yeah, the Rocker played the subliners.
Yep.
They lose to them, and then all of a sudden they're in losers versus losers, brink of elimination, which I think there's some statistic out there, I'm sure, which this is what I personally think. Whenever they lose their first round, they're guaranteed to lose the next. Especially the past three tournaments has pretty much been the case. If they lose their opening match, they're not going to win
Mm-hmm.
anything. They may win a map, they may steal a map off you, but they're not winning a series. And it's unfortunate to say, but I don't have them beating OGLA with Slasher being as even then as bad as they've been doing most of the year. Just like Octane has been fucking disgusting. Incredible player.
Yep.
TJ who has improved massively. Quavo who has improved massively. Fucking hate saying it like that, man. It pisses me off.
Just remember.
Um, he said it.
Mhm.
But Draws on Hollow, I think they'll be able to take them through the searches when it comes to against Rocker. But yeah, no, I just don't see OGLA losing that, to be honest with you.
Also, I just want to make something abundantly clear. Because these are losers round 2 matchups and their predictions, um, none of these games are set in stone. And my bracket looks different than Cap's because Cap and I don't agree on every single winners and losers. So I'm going based off of like my guesses, and we're just kind of like we're just kind of flying from there. So again, all guesses. With the way that things are progressing, we would have Legion and Ravens in that next round, and I have Paris 3-2. Again, this is going to be the second time that they're playing, and I don't if they whoever wins, I'll put it this way: if they have to play against each other a second time and loses round 2, then I see I see whoever won the first matchup winning the next one. I just based on momentum. Shreky Dog podcast, yes sir.
Um, Honestly, when it comes to this matchup now,
Oh, the winner's round 3. Is this what we're talking about now?
I thought you were talking about
Oh,
Paris versus
oh yeah yeah yeah
Ravens.
yeah 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 yeah. Oh, let
So
me
Paris versus Ravens, I have London winning 3-1.
you excuse me? Really?
I think depending on the way that the maps are going to be laid out, I think they're going to steal a hard point. I think they're going to win the search, and I think they're going to win a dom. But they won't be till the second hard point that they'll actually win it. The first hard point they'll probably lose. Going into search, I think they'll have a better search against Paris than they did. What they play before the Ultra. I think they're gonna be playing a lot better versus the Ultra or versus the Legion versus the Ultra. They're gonna have a better chance of actually winning that series as well.
Okay, okay. Again, since they're predictions and we can't really talk about them too much in depth because it just sounds like nonsense at that point because we can't really decide who's going to be there. We are going to move on to winners round 3 and
Although it
Atlanta, baby. We're going Atlanta and not playing
seems like
against
the
each
CDL
other.
can do that. CDL can decide who they want to win.
Yeah, right. Whose power's getting turned off? Lamau. Paris 3-0. Quote me on that. Way better at Modern Warfare. All right. All right. Yeah, we're recording this, so yeah, your comment is taken and
It's a bold move. It's a bold statement.
it's a bold move, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off.
It's a wild fucking take. I don't personally agree with that actually. I think the Ravens have been a lot more consistent, obviously, in terms of placings. If they're in winners and Paris is in deep fucking losers. Paris just has not been a very consistent team. Period. They've had options to substitute people, and they've stuck with the same team all year, which I respect. I respect that they've stuck it out all year and tried to fix things within the team instead of just bringing somebody else in. But I just don't think they're a more consistent team than London or a better team.
Well, a matchup that would happen that's guaranteed is a winners round 3 matchup that features the Atlanta FaZe. Their challenger will be the winner of the Subliner Chicago series, which we have as Chicago. Chicago, I think I actually have Atlanta winning this one, the first matchup. They win 3-1. But let's talk about Atlanta, the number 1 team in the CDL. They are first seed at 26-7. Simpa, Beezy, Major Maniac, Celium, Priesta, second. They are second across the board. Second in hardpoint, search and destroy, and dom in terms of win percentages. I mean, there's not a whole lot we got to talk about with Atlanta because their team is pretty self-explanatory when it comes to gameplay. Yes, has their team had hiccups? Yeah, of course. But the hiccups have been so tiny and they've been so easily adjusted that there's never been any fear, I think, especially this year, where anybody's had to think, wow, is somebody going to get benched? Wow, who's going to get traded? Oh, who are they going to replace? Atlanta's always been like, oh crap, they're playing Atlanta. I don't know, man. Could be easy 3-0 or 3-1. You know.
My problem is, man. When you said hiccups, you're right. There have been no necessarily roster moves, rumors, whatever. But the problem with the way that they've been going recently is I have Hunts winning 3-2. Recently they got the first ever matchup between the Huntsman and Atlanta FaZe was Huntsman 3-0 pretty convincingly. The past couple tournaments, as far as Toronto and I believe London when they lost, I don't specifically remember when Florida just absolutely crushed them. I don't remember the specific tournament, but they just got absolutely mopped. I mean, recently they've been struggling and they've been showing cracks in their armor. There's some cracks in there that I think people are going to take advantage of. There's certain things you can do to, I think, really take advantage of the way that they play and then put that against them and be like, well, you can do this, well, we can do this too, and we can do it better. Or you can do this, but we'll just sit back and wait. Instead of just trying to combat you and match your speed, we'll slow down a little bit and let you jump into us type thing.
Uh-huh.
So the way that their team has really been progressing towards the end of this game has been a lot more downside than upsided, in my opinion. Like, they just haven't been as good as they have been all year. Like, all year, pretty across the board destruction, but then it seems like they kind of just took a step back a little bit and then didn't. I don't know if it was lack of practice, lack of whatever it was, but they just were showing a lot more cracks than they did. Like, they're going down 2-0 versus Seattle. They're getting swept by Florida in the finals. They're getting swept by the Huntsmen. Like, these big matchups you think are going to be really, really close didn't end up being close. They were very, very bad. And then these certain people on the team who you rely on to have good series just did not whatsoever.
Absolutely. So we're going to transition now to the last team, which is going to be Dallas, because we haven't talked about them. And we're going to skip the rest of the losers rounds because, again, it's all speculation and it's based on if the round 3, round 2, so although I have notes down for them, it's all guesses. We're gonna talk about Dallas, and then we're gonna talk about our winners, and then we're gonna go right into questions because I know Zaides and Phoenix and Sean had some questions as well for me. Atlanta's like Lightning last year. They're going into the playoffs struggling. Yeah.
For me, if you guys are baseball fans, it's almost like the Yankees having a great fucking season or the Dodgers having a great season, then just absolutely falling off when it came to the time where it matters. Like, that's pretty much been the talk of the tail. And even though I'm not a huge hockey fan, I can fucking fully agree with that, Norcia. Like, Lightning all year, fucking dominant team, amazing team. Then once playoffs came around, they just fell flat. Nothing happened. Like, it did not make sense for that to happen.
No idea. Yeah, that was. So,
yeah, the Red Sox suck, Scott. Fuck you.
Oh boy.
Don't piss me off. Podcast right now.
All right, so we got the last team that we're going to talk about, which is both of our picks to make it directly in the finals because they have the easiest route. Let's be real here. Yes, Atlanta has an easy route. I get that, but I feel like Dallas has such an easier route. Dallas is the second seed, 23-12, and they have C6, Clayster, Shotzi, Ook, and Illy. Oh yeah, careful, Scott. Norcia's a huge Red Sox fan. Yeah, you, Norcia, we'll have you on the podcast absolutely to talk Red Sox with Cap here. Yeah, absolutely. So currently they're number 5 in Hardpoint, but they're number 1 in S&D, and they're number 1 in Dom. Dallas is fucking disgusting. They are nasty, and I don't want to like them because I'm not a fan of Crimsix. I love Clay because, as you can tell, I am a huge United fan. I got to go to Anaheim and Champs last year when they won. It was the absolute most amazing experience of my life. It was insane. As you can tell, I haven't really done a whole lot. Anyway, besides, the most amazing experience of my life was getting engaged to my fiance. I love you, babe. Second most, But I have there ain't a whole lot to talk about. Both of us have Chicago, and let's get to the meat of it here. Both of us have Chicago and Dallas in the finals, except we have different winners. I have Chicago.
I have Dallas winning, man. I don't want to admit that, but I just think it's, especially being online. Shotzi, since moving to online, has been literally has had the most glow up as a player. And I mean, obviously, you kind of expect that, especially players like Illy too, who can. I mean, to be fair, Shotzi won a freaking Halo championship, but this is a different breed. This is a different thing where if you make a bad play, in Call of Duty and you're on LAN, or you do one bad thing, the entire rest of the tournament, you won't hear the fucking end of it
Yep.
from the crowd. Very
Oh yeah.
first, uh, very first hacking hardpoint he drops in goes 8 and 32, 8 and 33, something like that. People don't forget that shit. That shit
Mm-mm.
stays in their mind. I mean, truthfully, I think he deserves as much shit as he gets. No, but
So,
that was, well,
Zaidi says, "I'm gonna keep it a buck.
Florida taking it
Florida's
all.
taking it all. All right, let's talk off stream about you want to play some bets. I'm down for that. I have Chicago winning it. Okay, and here's why. I have Chicago winning it because I think that again, it's going to be based on momentum. So if Chicago's getting to the final, I just think the momentum's carrying them. Is Preston and Alec together. I mean, you saw what were they playing again? Gen G, was that Hacienda Search and Destroy when Preston's defusing and Alec ends up saving his life with just with a rat's with a bee's dick worth of hair left, with a health left. Saves the round, ends up winning. I don't know, man. It's a whole different a homer. Don't even talk to me about Homer, Captain Boston. Get out of here. Bro,
They're losing 10-4 now, by
Awakening
the way.
is king on. They're losing now.
Yeah, they were up 3-0, and now they're down 10-4 in the seventh. What's fucking new? Regardless, we're fucking close.
I'm sorry.
I'm like getting ready to cry if we continue to talk about this shit.
Oh my god. Okay, here we
I'm
go. We're
over
coming back. Norcia says Homer. Yeah, you know what? I am. But I want the Huntsman to win, and I honestly believe that if they can play that Call of Duty, that championship Sunday style Call of Duty that we know that they can play, that we've seen them play before. If they can play that for the few days that they have to play, they are going to win. I know it. But if they deviate from that, it's over immediately. I'm sorry, but it is going to be over quick. We've seen it happen many, many times. So I want to get into some questions now. F3. Yeah, we're going to get into some questions. We got questions from Navi, Phoenix, Zaides, Floppy, who's Sean, and Filthy, which we already answered Filthy's questions. So let's just get right into it. How do you feel Scump and Arcinies have been doing this season? I'm not surprised Capshotz is.
My pitching staff sucks. Every single person who pitches for the Boston Red Sox throws muffin down to dick. Yep, you're not wrong. They literally have fucking middle school pitchers on that staff. It's upsetting. But yeah, that's where I fucking stand. I'm not gonna keep talking about it, or I will break down in tears. I'm not kidding. It's tough to watch.
So on Twitter at TFG_Navi, he asked, "How do you feel Scump and Arcinies have been doing this season?" I mean, as a Huntsman fan, it's like they've been doing. I mean, I think they've been doing well, but not at the level that they could be at. I think that there's been some opportunities for them to excel, and instead, I think we've seen some games with some double negs where they start off, they're starting off a Hackney hardpoint, or they're starting off a Hackney Dom, double negative, and it's like, yeah, you guys need to step it up. So I think that they've been doing well all season. I mean, obviously, Chicago's sitting in third place, but I want them to win. So I need
top 3 across the board in every game mode. First in hardpoint, they've been basically the first hardpoint team all year.
Mm-hmm.
Third Dom, third S&D. Like you'd think with honestly the chemistry and the future, or not the future, but I'm sorry, the past experiences and past like watchings of Scump and Formal together in Search, not a very good Search team. This year they've managed to be a top 3 team in Search, which has been very, very impressive. Honestly, Scump has had a lot of really good series. He's had a very, very good year this year, I think, to be honest with you. Arcides struggled a little bit because of the meta, but as soon as it came to the 2AR meta, the guy's been lights out. The guy's been a very good player, and in a lot of cases, outshining somebody like Formal on the AR spot on that team. But I mean, RC's he's able to just do whatever the fuck he wants on that
Yeah.
map now. He gets an AR in his hand, he can just fucking jump around a corner 3-piece, like nothing even happened. So I mean, I think overall they've been playing really good Call of Duty.
All right, so we're gonna move on to the next one. This is from Phoenix on Twitter at PHX_CA at PhoenixCA. Phoenix is actually in the chat with us right now as well, listening and watching to the podcast. So welcome, Phoenix. We appreciate you being here. Phoenix's question: who is our dark horse to win champs? Cap, go ahead and start us off. Who's your dark horse to win champs? What do we got here?
Mhm. Damn, that's a good question. I think my dark horse is gonna either be a team like Toronto Ultra, or technically, I I'm really gonna hate saying this, and if Jamal ever finds out that I say this, it's going to be New York. Jamal will never let me hear the end of it if he knows that I think that New York is going to be under a dark horse team.
Well, now it's gonna get clipped,
Probably.
right? It's gonna get clipped. Chat. Oh my goodness. Yeah, Zaidi says Toronto.
I think Toronto's going to be a huge fucking dark horse, and there are a
Yep.
lot of things that people aren't going to expect.
I completely agree. I saw this question earlier today, and I've been thinking about it, which is kind of cheating. To think about the questions beforehand. But when I thought about it, the first team that popped up to my head I went Toronto. Oh, whoa, that was quick. Yeah, okay, yeah, Toronto. I think they can. I think that if anybody can cause an upset to win, not an upset in the early rounds, but I'm talking about upset to win. Yeah, I honestly believe Toronto could be that scary team that just suddenly pops up out of nowhere. OGLA is getting no respect, and I'm annoyed. Well, welcome to the I Hate OGLA podcast featuring Capshotz and Battery. I'm kidding.
No, listen, man.
It's because Optic is not.
It's just I still think Hollow and Draws are way too new,
Yeah.
and they're just not going to be able to beat the top teams when it comes down to it. Cammy MVP.
Ooh.
I think if Toronto makes a dark horse run, then I think it's going to be Methods that's going to get the dark horse MVP for
Mm-hmm.
sure.
Yep. It's gonna rely on him being that hard carry.
Yep.
Okay. Before we move on to Navi's questions, I'm gonna answer Zaidi's question because I love both Cap and I love this question. Do you think if a team like the New York Subliners or the Paris Legion, a very middle of the team pack, had a player like Octane, do you think that they would become a top contender, or do you think they would still be average?
You want me to answer first?
I definitely do, absolutely.
No.
Or do you... No. I like just simply no. Okay.
I think no, because I think a player like Octane, while being such a great player, like I said, I love Octane. He is like easily one of my favorite personalities and players in the scene, the league, whatever. I think that solely him on any middle of the pack team does not excel it to be literally a top 2, top 3 team. His stats, while being literally the best in hardpoint and dom in the league, his search lacks heavily. Number one.
Yep.
I mean, that can obviously be attributed to his team, but he's also getting blooded a lot. He's always one of the first people dead on his team when it comes to search and destroy, I feel like. And I also feel like having players on his team like Slack, like Apathy, like Proto and Pander, like it's just so easy for him to just get those scrap kills, those one shot kills, to really boost his stats. Like in the league, I believe he's like one of the top ARs that have the least deaths per fucking game, like average per game or something like that. But I just don't think putting him on any middle of the pack team would immediately put them to the top. But I mean, I don't know. I definitely think no. But I definitely hope he fucking gets put on a better team or gets some fucking more help next year. Like albeit while I think it's the most disrespectful thing ever to put on a professional broadcast saying Octane needs help.
Someone help Sam.
Doesn't take away from the fact that it's true. He
Yeah.
needs fucking help. None of his teammates have above like a 0.9, like 1.2, whatever like that. And he has like a 1.24, I
He's a
believe.
1.26 right now.
1.26. So like, he has this great KD, but I mean,
Yeah,
to what extent? Like they're still getting blown out. It's easy to have a good KD when you're losing games by 100 points plus on each
app,
fucking respawn.
app is a 0.96, Slack 0.95. Um, Sweet Murphy. Yeah, Pander's 0.9 and Proto's 0.86. So yeah, so now I'm gonna answer that. I don't think so. No, Chase, I don't. I don't think so. And it is only because it's kind of being shown right now. Seattle is not a middle of the team pack, but with how good he is, kind of bouncing off what Cap said, with how good he is, he's still one player can't change it all. Yes, Awakening helped big time. Oh yeah,
But to be fair,
absolutely.
also Pharaoh was put on the team around the same time as well. So
Yeah, I feel that if he got moved to Paris, Paris is going to be in the same spot. If he got moved to the subliners might improve a little bit, but again, you go to that
see, right?
roster, who are you pulling off the roster right now?
I mean, had to be accuracy to think for especially main AR role, but that's a role where
Ooh,
you can't just take Octane and slot him somewhere on the main AR. I mean, like a middle of the pack team, and like you said, subliners, our accuracy isn't the reason that they're not getting these top placings. To be fair, there's players like um, let's see, what other middle of the pack team would you like consider? I guess let me
Minnesota.
Minnesota.
I mean, Minnesota's sitting in eighth, but like
Assault,
still,
Assault isn't a bad AR player either. I mean, you
Zaides
take
says bench accuracy. You want to bench Lamar? Didn't I talk about benching Lamar? And I got absolutely eviscerated by all of the COD guys on Terraform about wanting to bench Lamar.
yes,
Yeah,
but to be fair, if you're replacing him with the caliber of the player in Octane, you'd think it automatically become better. But
but what about the chemistry? What about the
Toronto, who do you replace? Methods? No chance. You don't replace the guy who like just like Rise.
yeah
In World War
Toronto?
II, you replace Methods who just won an MVP the tournament before for Slasher, which I mean ended up working in the short run, but
The very short. Yeah,
I mean taking out an MVP, especially in a player like Methods who is such a good AR, doesn't make much sense.
yeah, it's I don't know. Yeah, on paper, sure, making the move would be beneficial, but when it came to results, I just don't think it would be there. I think there'd be too much struggling, uh, too much of a learning curve. I mean, even if you did the move in the off season, I just don't think. Yeah, I don't know. Octane would have to go to a team. I mean, if you want to be completely honest, I mean, we can't even really discuss teams only because our rosters. I'm sorry, we can't really discuss rosters only because you and I both know that if playoffs go south, that's going to be the end for most of these rosters.
I think anyway, that's gonna be the case. There's gonna be a lot of trading, a lot of moving, a lot of players being taken out of the pro scene, a lot of few players being put into the pro scene. Um, Sit down classic, put methods octane back to the AR duo. Cammy goes to sub and slays.
Cammy goes to sub in this game and slays this late with the MP5 change. I don't know. I'm,
I think if they had time, it wouldn't be bad, honestly. But
if
I
we're
think
if we're
I
talking
think
March, yes.
methods and octane play way too similar to put them in an AR duo, because even in the same pace that there are two ARs on map now per team, there's always an AR that plays a little bit faster, but octane and methods play relatively slow, and I think forcing one of them to play faster would screw up the way they play, and ultimately they wouldn't play as well. Like remember at one point they tried to make methods faster in BO4, and he literally just fucking spun out of control. Did not play well. Didn't do well. He's able to slow down a little bit more and use the ICR, and he fucking exceeds again. So I think doing that would on paper sound fucking great, but then once you actually put it to practice, it wouldn't work out as well as you think. LOL, I'll take a moment two all over again. Oh, no, Jesus Christ. I mean, I think the problem with putting him on a middle of the pack team is I don't think an AR can fix a middle of the pack team when a lot of it isn't AR players that are the problem.
Yeah, it's kind of the same thing when you talk about in sports. I mean, we talking about hockey trades, Zaides. You know this. I mean, You talk about, I mean, look at you. You love Toronto. I mean, I could talk about this for hours. Is when Toronto needed to make a move and they needed someone and they were choosing between Carlson and Tavares. I mean, it's a no-brainer. I'm not even a Toronto fan. Toronto needed defense, and they went after Tavares, and look where it's landed them. Another first-round playoff exit. It's just sometimes that overpowered skill sounds great, but when you put it into action, it just doesn't work out, and
It
that's kind
doesn't
of the sucky part.
it doesn't compensate what you actually need, basically. It's
Yeah.
like you can add another offensive boost, but then in the defensive boost, it
And I
lacks a little bit, if not more.
and I think there's also going to come a point where Octane is only going to be able to do so much. I think that he's playing so well and has the stats that he does because of players like Slacked and App next
Hmm.
to him. I think if you stuck him somewhere else, I don't think he's producing a 1.25. I don't. I just or 1.26. I mean, I just don't see it. I just don't.
I mean, I still think he would do just as well, or at least it wouldn't be maybe as good as 1.26, maybe like a 1.18, 1.19, 1.2. But I mean, you've seen that in players last year. Last year, was great across the board all year, and he had great players by his side. And look what that did. It brought him uh, lots of grand finals finishes, lots of our 3 titles, lots of really good fucking performances. Like you put a good team around him, he will be undoubtedly a great player. And AW was an
Tough cough,
all-around
100
top
days.
4. Yeah, literally. Top 4 team. BO3 top 4 team. Like every time in his career when he's had a solid group of players around him, he's been able to make them a top 4 team. Not him solely, obviously. He has obviously other teammates, team game, but
Right.
when he has good players on his side, he will undoubtedly be on a top 4 team. It's just this game didn't happen. These guys were very, very fucking slow. Had a lot of problems off the gate.
Oh yeah, no, Chase. We're not discounting Octane's skill. He is. I mean, between him and Skies, the two best players in the league. It's a toss-up. Those guys are both nasty. It's just sometimes that overpowered skill doesn't translate to what teams need. So Cap is 110% correct. I'm not even going to add to it because he said everything perfectly. It boils down to sometimes it's not what the team needs. Although it sounds great, it's sometimes not what they need. So, oh, you agree with us? Okay, okay, okay. Sorry about that.
Yeah,
Zaides.
it's honestly, in my opinion, like so upsetting watching somebody like Octane going from
Yeah,
this
yeah,
top. He got second, had a great run at champs with 100 Thieves, won 3 times. Like, was it
yeah.
literally like Chase said, the
Literally,
best hour in the fucking game, undoubtedly the best shot, the most insane. Like,
the
did
human
shit that didn't
turret.
make sense. Literally just didn't make did shit that didn't make sense.
Yeah, you
And
remember his
then
frequency ICR plays? Oh my god, bro!
like it's frequency, and he's literally just able to fucking sit there and just be like, all right, dead, dead, dead,
Yeah,
dead,
dead, dead,
no,
dead, dead,
dead,
dead,
dead,
dead,
dead,
dead, dead.
dead. Like he was an incredible player, and like watching him go from that to fucking like this is upsetting. Like he still does well. I'm so glad he's still performing, but to what a fucking extent? Like he's literally on the second
Yeah,
worst team in the fucking game, man.
yeah, yeah. Okay, so let's shift a little bit here because we're gonna use both of these because they're both changes here. So Zaides again, Twitter at Zaides. Uh, he said thoughts on COD rumored to be 4v4, good or bad in your eyes, and TFG underscore Navi, same thing. What kind of changes do you want to see in Modern Warfare? I mean, 4v4.
Where do we fucking start?
Here's why 4v4 won't work. Here's why 4v4 won't work next season. Uh, you don't have the amount of teams to cover the amount of pro players. I don't care who's retiring next year. I don't care. You can have, Slack talks about, or is it Slasher? I'm sorry, Slasher
Slash,
talks
if
about.
online, then fuck it, I won't play.
Yeah, and there's been a couple of other guys that are like, if it's going online, then I'm taking time off. Okay, that's fine. Wonderful. Great. There are still, right now, pros sitting on the bench that are good that don't have a team. And when these next, what are they? They're like speculating 2 to 4 teams being added. I'm not sure.
Yep.
Um, you add 4 teams, fine. You add 4 teams, but now you're taking away a roster spot on each of those teams a starting roster spot, mind you, off each of those teams. That's 4 starting players. That's an entire team worth of players that's not going to have a team. So
Hmm.
where do you go from there? That's the big question. Would I like to see 4v4 again? Yes. Man, do I miss 4v4. 5v5 is just it's great. I understand why they went for it for uh for the looks, for the kills, for the multi kills. I totally get that.
Just like fucking Chase said, Brack hasn't seen a lick of the league, and like that's been
Yeah,
my
and he's
fucking
yeah.
the whole year. Like last year, he was a top 10 player in the game, a fucking top 5 candidate for like rookie of the year, in my opinion.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
was
in the league's opinion.
could do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, like last year, like he was asked like, why aren't you starting? Like, and then people were like, oh, it's because they need this or they need that, and he's like, dude, I can play fucking anything. I can be a sub. I can be an AR. Like, just fucking, I can see his frustration on it, and like, hey,
Yeah, yeah.
he's getting some fucking some licks in and like scrimming like the main Toronto team, but still like. He was such a good player last year. It's like how does he by default not get a start over somebody like fucking Kleenex? And regardless, Kleenex has had a great fucking year since he's been playing. I will not take that away. Or somebody like Classic even. Classic track record sucked. This year he's had times where he's been very good, but
Do you think Classic is on a roster if John isn't suspended? Yes or no? I understand that there's plenty of roster spots for him to go to. I totally understand that. But if John wasn't suspended, do you think that Classic would be on a CDL roster?
100%.
On what team?
On what team specifically, I don't know, to be fair, but I don't think he would be. I don't think John will ever break pro again, to be honest with you. And if he does, it won't be for very long.
Classics, yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah,
No,
Scott, you're
100%.
right. He has been on a lot
A
of,
lot of good teams, but he hasn't been
but he hasn't
like
been
a
that.
star fucking killer.
Yeah, he's not the star. He's not the star. He like in a tournament, he might have, or in a year, he might have 1 or 2 games where he's
Wait,
stand.
I don't know about that one, Chase. That's a hot
What,
take
John
right
will be
there.
back next year in the
Underrated.
league. He's the
If he's in the year, I don't agree with most underrated player.
I don't.
In
Yeah,
BO3, undoubtedly he was the best player in the game. 100%. So I don't know about most underrated.
I don't know
Was
about
he
yeah.
very good? But ever since the end of BO3, when he was a very good player, AW still a solid player, stuff like that. But IW comes around, he's still like pretty good player on Envy. Next year comes out, we got World War II, an all right player, not bad, not incredible. Had his games just like most pros do. World War II after that, what's BO4? All right player. I mean, like he
I mean, John
wasn't
was
a
John was
that
decent at
he was
BO4,
he was right. He was a decent player, but
but
like he
but
wasn't.
better than Classic is the point I'm trying to make here. And in terms of, yes, there are definitely players better than John, but oh, we're going to Zaidi's underrated comment. That's what it was. That's what, I wouldn't. Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't say underrated, but not most underrated, but he is underrated.
Well, exactly. I mean, yeah, he's
He's
been
been.
pretty good, but he's but the problem is that he gets. I will say this: he does get outshined by some of the people he's been on teams with, which I can agree with. But I mean, when you have a year like BO3, when you were undoubtedly probably the best sub in the game, and then you progressively downgrade every single year after that, which is it's really been the case. He hasn't been as good since BO3. He slowly gotten worse, and it's
Mm-hmm.
shown. And obviously this whole problem with whatever Adderall, whatever the real story is, nobody really knows the
Yeah, I was
very
gonna say
true story
yeah.
behind it. But I just don't think he's ever. If you know what, I'm actually gonna retry that statement on he's not gonna ever be in a pro again. I think he'll be on pro a year again.
I
I
think
think
he'll
he'll
be
be.
a pro. I honestly believe he'll be a pro in Cold War.
All right,
You don't think
shit.
so?
Anybody can be fucking.
Because
I'm actually replying to fucking Chase's thing, but
oh,
no, I
okay.
agree with that now. Yeah, I think he probably will be.
I think he'll be starting for Seattle next year with Octane. That's my guess. You, well, you think it's gonna? You think the old Lumi boys are gonna get back together? I mean,
And I think that needs to happen. I think they need to fucking.
drop Proto and Pander and pick up John and Classic and
I
literally
think.
go Octane Slacked app
I think. Truthfully, I think you even fucking wipe the whole team, man.
Seattle.
Yeah,
Yo, yeah,
you
yeah, 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 yeah,
wipe the
yeah,
whole
yeah, yeah,
team
yeah, yeah,
besides
yeah, yeah.
Octane, and you begin to build.
I agree.
You
Yeah.
bring on people like John, and then you look at very, very top AMs from last year. As
Well,
much
you
as I don't like him, as much as I do not like him for a few reasons, Sibilance needs to be number one looked at. He undoubtedly was the best AM player in the entire game. I will fully say that with every bit of me. I don't like him, and I don't appreciate the way he's gone about, and he almost ruined it for himself, and luckily he got a second chance, which he better not fucking blow. A lot of
Well,
players don't get that chance.
yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, Mutex didn't get that chance at all. So interesting.
I'll agree with you on that. He is friends with a lot of people, but he is literally one of the most infamous time tortures of all time when it comes to scrimming. Like, people don't want to scrim the teams that John is on because he's always fucking late. He is never on time when it comes to scrimming. Like, players are literally asked, "Hey, what do you think in terms of, who is the biggest time torture?" 90% of people, John. John,
John.
always be late, whatever it is. He will always be.
John.
Siblings could be another gunless Pharaoh kind of player. Scott, I agree with that. I think to be fair, I think it was just a young mistake, and I'm not gonna ever fucking defend that mistake because it was ridiculous what he did. Yeah, it was so uncalled for no fucking reason. But
yeah, literally.
I don't think he is like that. The way he responded to it as well was very childish too. But again, young kid, whatever. But I think
that he can learn from it.
Around the right people, I think he'll fucking grow up a lot faster than Gunless or Pharaoh ever had to. Pharaoh was a bitch last year. Great player, but he was a bitch. Same as Gunless. Gunless has cried whenever he doesn't get his way and shit like that. So in that right, there's a potential, but I think top pros and veterans will get to Sib before he gets the chance to become fully like that, I believe.
And I mean, now that you're talking about AMs really quick, that's the other thing to think about is I just don't see 4v4 working with the league trying to expand and more players getting in. If the league expands and moves to 4v4, they are simply just going to screw the AM community even harder than they already have.
Yep.
It is going to make it so difficult. They are going to be putting yet another roadblock in the path of amateurs in order to get them into the pro scene. So 4v4 again sounds great now that we're coming back. 4v4 sounds great, but wow, holy shit, we're back. That's a nice conversation right there. So a few more questions, and then we're gonna be starting to wrap it up here.
Prospects right now: Sib, Standy, Fire, Chain, Gravity. Yeah, I'll agree with that for the most part, 100%. The first three, 100%. Fire 40 is fucking disgusting. Standy, incredible. Sib, incredible. Gravity and Chain, well, I think very good players. I don't know. But definitely that top three, I will 1,000% agree with.
All right. Well, we're gonna reach these last couple of questions, and we're gonna round it out for the night because we're just about hitting 2 hours. It's been a great first podcast here, so we're gonna rip off these last couple of questions here. Hopefully Navi is still in here because he's got a couple of more questions here. I'll start off with the Halo one. Unfortunately, Lex, great episode. Thank you so much. Navi, again, he asks, what are your thoughts on the upcoming Halo? For me, I'm going to break a lot of people's hearts. I'm not really paying attention to the Halo scene right now, unfortunately.
I agree with that, Chase.
It looks, I mean, from what I've seen, from the small things that I've seen pop up on my feed, it looks great. There's no doubt. And in the off season of COD, because, well, I'll be real with you, a majority of this is going to be, of this podcast will be Call of Duty related material, and there's a big off season where we're not going to be able to talk about a whole lot of Call of Duty, so we'll be talking about other games, and that's where we're going to be diving more into those games. So we'll come back to that question in another episode, but I appreciate that. Another one, he says, my fiance would like to know why you all have big PP energy. It's because Capshotz and I, we want to get shit done. That's why. That's what happens. See that face? Okay, here's a good one because
what the fuck are you laughing at, bitch?
He says, "Do you think Fall Guys will die? If so, how long do you think the game will last?" Okay, listen, I love Fall Guys. I fucking love Fall Guys, man. I don't know what it is about it. I'm on the edge of my seat. I am just dripping in sweat. I can barely hold my controller because my hands are just sweating. And I'm like, I gotta get this win. And last night on stream, I did get a win, so I was super happy about that. First game on stream, and I got a win. I was like, yeah. Do I think Fall Guys will die? No, and here's why. Fall Guys, they are. We'll come back right back to that, Zaides. Write it all out, and then we'll answer that. We'll come back to that. Fall Guys right now is doing an absolutely amazing job, absolutely stunning job on social media. They've almost had 1 million followers, and right now they're doing the battle of the brands, and I believe the last time I saw, they were at almost $350,000. As long as they can keep, I mean, I've talked to Susie about this too. As long as they can keep bringing in these silly costumes, the fact that they have a dove, a pigeon, a parrot, a duck. They have like 6 different types of of birds that you can pick from, and it's just a top and a bottom. And in the store, you get a 3-pack of skins that come with a top and a bottom piece. It's 6 pieces, and it's $5. If they can keep their microtransactions low, they can keep the skins updated and new stuff coming out and new patterns to deal with, and they have all these cool color combinations. The fact that they've been able to take a color combination, do like pink and green, and then blue and blue, and then black on black, and gray on brown. They have all these different amazing millions of color combinations. They have so much shit that they can release. If they can continue to do that and they keep the game simple, Summit said it best. The fact that Fall Guys is so successful and it's so simple, video game developers need to take notice. He's correct. This shit is so simple. Keep it simple, and it'll be one of the most successful games. Absolutely. 100%. It's hilarious. Everybody's playing it right now. Tim had 110,000 people watching him try to get a fucking win. My God.
Yeah. Nate has about 9K right now fucking playing it.
It's banana sandwich. I am watching Fall Guys all the time. I've stopped playing Warzone. I'm sorry. I don't want to get butt blasted by an FR556 shotgun attachment from across the map. Okay? I already have to deal with enough snipers and fucking cheaters in Warzone as it is. I thoroughly enjoy playing Fall Guys on PS4. It is so much fun. Cap, on the other hand, I don't know how he feels. Cap, what do you feel about Fall Guys? I fucking love Fall Guys.
Okay, Fall Guys. I love it, man. I mean, it's such a stupid game. It really is. It's stupid fun though. Playing with 3 of your friends is really, really fucking stupid, and like it's fun for no reason at all. It's a fun fucking game that like people you can just jump, like I said, jump on with your friends and just fucking enjoy. And
Yeah.
I think another thing, like you said, like the microtransactions, they can keep those low. If they can keep the store fresh, keep like seasons coming and stuff like that. If they can start doing different themes and stuff like that to keep shit fresh and make things like Halloween themed and Thanksgiving themed, Christmas themed. Like there's so many options they can bounce off of to make their shit like so good.
Christmas tree and Santa skin. Fuck yeah.
Right? Imagine that'd be fucking sick. Or like an elf, a candy cane. Like, dude, there's so much shit, dude. Also in terms of that, there's fucking wow, damn, I literally just thought this really good thing. Oh, the creative mode where people can create their own maps and like broadcast them out. There's like a mode that's a rotation of
player created maps.
Like player created maps that are like top trending or like shit like that. Like I think that'd be really, really fucking cool, which I think they're gonna do. I think eventually down the line, once this game gets more cemented and keeps the traction it does, eventually it's gonna become something like that where they actually have people creating maps and like stuff like that, and there's prizes you can win for creating maps and stuff like that. Like they'll give incentives to actually do it. Like there's so many things so many avenues they can go down to actually make this shit succeed.
One of the Trash says, did someone say Fall Guys? One of the big things with Fall Guys is that map making ability, and the biggest thing that I'm looking forward to with this game is private servers. Because I'm telling you right now, you're hearing it here first on the Power Grid podcast. As soon as private servers come out, Terraform's holding tournaments for money. It's going to be insane. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. First-hand experience. You heard it here first. I'm releasing... Clip it! We're as soon as those parties open up and private matches are able to be made, and then we're gonna have
Some
trust
free
me.
cash, Scott. You can't get past the fucking first round half the time. Anyway,
Smoked. Okay, let's go back before we answer some more questions because Zaides did think of a fire roster for Seattle, and he's saying that Apathy gets moved to being the coach, and he's saying Octane, Standy, Sib, Fire, and John as the roster. That's pretty
fucking deep.
fire. That's it's fucking
I
deep.
think it's. I think just like OGLA though, depending on the game and the way it works, is gonna be just like the way Optic fucking looked on paper. On paper, it literally sounds like fucking fire. It sounds amazing. It sounds like a roster that would fucking take people out. But realistically, based on the meta, you never know how it'll work. I
Yeah,
mean, I think with how the end of this game worked, if you put that roster together for this game, it'd be fucking good.
yeah, that would be pretty fire. Um, do you think that COD has the same shelf life as Fortnite? Do you think that the glitches that they have will drive content creators away? Um, no. The only reason why I say that is because COD's been around for 16 years. I think this is the 16th or 17th installment of Call of Duty. Um, yes, Call of Duty's always had its fair share of issues. There's no doubt, especially in this Modern Warfare. Oh my God, this is literally just a dumpster fire at this point. This game is. But people are still playing. I mean, just today, Warzone is a shit show. There's one-tap weapons and hackers, and there's still people playing for tens of thousands of dollars. So, um, I don't.
Yeah, I think in the same capacity that
Yeah.
it ruins a lot of shit, it also fucking like makes for some really good content.
Yep.
Like, I mean, you come across the corner and you see somebody with a fucking demon glitch, you're shitting your pants. You're literally fucking having the time of your life and you're fucking crying, laughing after. Like, you're raging, but everybody in chat's fucking dying laughing.
My
And like, you go back and look at it and you're like, fuck, that was really funny. I mean,
Oh yeah, my number one viewed video on YouTube right now that I've ever had is when we ran into a hacker, and it's like a 2.5 minute video. It's not even that long. It's got the most views I've ever had on a video before. And this shit is hilarious. We get clapped by this guy that's using Kmart style Car 98 hacks. Pissed us off at the time, but when we're watching back, it was hilarious.
funny.
So no,
Uh,
I think that
fucking,
COD will last.
fucking Chase over here with the hot take of sliding ruin God. I agree. Every game that's ever had sliding has had a fucking broken mechanic to it.
Yep.
As far as G sliding and let's find out what the fuck else. G sliding in BO3, sliding
G
could
sliding,
be
the G
broken in
slide. Oh my
BO4.
god.
Ghost. I think Ghost really didn't have that much of a problem. Yeah, I was gonna say Ghost didn't really have that much of a problem as far as sliding. I think sliding in that game was the only fucking game it was good in. There was nothing broken to actually make. But like this year, slide canceling ruined this mother loving ever fucking game
Yep. It's
10 times more than the game itself.
Yep.
And the fact that they never even like addressed it or attempted to fix it, pretty much.
Enjoy my camera, morons.
Yeah, basically, like I
Exactly.
literally fucking, dude, I literally see the blink of my eye. I fucking blink. Someone jumps around a corner. I can fucking picture right now. It's happened so many fucking times. I spawn yellow. I spawn fucking yellow side Hackney P5. Somebody slides around the fucking corner, breaks my camera on bottom L, smokes my shit. I look at the fucking kill cam. He's been around the fucking the corner for like 10 minutes. I'm like, oh, I guess.
Son of a bitch. Oh
Like,
my.
all right, back to the fucking cam. Let's fucking run it up again. Spawn yellow again. It's happening again. I'm like, oh, fuck me.
Yeah, right. Oh my gosh. Well, Whippix caught his heart garbage. Ree! When I say
The
camera with my
way, the
AR,
way you
people
could
lose
fucking
it.
camera and the AR in this game was fucking stupid. The amount of times I've been able to outgun fucking subs by doing that,
Even me,
it
bro, and
shouldn't be happening, dude. It shouldn't be happening.
I'm not even a competitive Call of Duty player, and I can turn on kids. And this game is made for shitters. Trust me, I would know. Modern Warfare is
I would
easy.
know, I play it.
I'm literally a tank. Yeah, I'm literally dog shit at Call of Duty, and I'm fucking gross at this one. All right, so we're ending the questions here shortly. Another one that was by Sean. At Floppy
Sean
Walrus
Jones,
Cock, FLOPY Walrus COUQ. Yeah, Modern Warfare is trash. Literally had so much potential. I jump trial everything. So does Chase. He knows it.
Yep. Me too.
So Sean asks, do you think that Rogue Company has a chance to take some of the? Give me this. Where'd it go? Some of the shares, there we go. Some of the shares that COD has it becoming a real contender for FPS player games. COD is in a league of its own. In
Yep.
my
It
opinion,
has way too many
there's no
unique
outside.
too much uniqueness
Yeah, there's no
to
I don't
have a compete with it.
there's been outside games that have challenged it and they've not failed, but they have failed in the competitive aspect of gaming. Yes, Battlefield is competitive, but there's no professional Battlefield league.
Yep.
There's been a professional COD league for a long time, and an amateur COD league for a long time, and LAN's going on for a long time. Um, Rogue Company, I would actually say that Valorant needs to fear Rogue Company, and I know that everybody goes Valorant,
No, I
but
agree with that 1000%.
I'm telling you, man, I turned Rogue Company on the other day, and I was playing with you, Rec, and Ghost, and it was super difficult to find something that I did not like about Rogue Company. And I am the first person to hop on a game and go, no, this is
No, 100%.
garbage.
Like honestly, anybody you fucking ask that's known me for a long time will fucking tell you. Any other game that's not Call of Duty, I will struggle with. I will already automatically be turned off to it. They fucking made me get on Road Company. First game, I was like, okay, this is dumb. I fixed my settings around a little bit, fixed my bindings to like the way I liked it. I was enjoying games. I was literally shitting on kids, and I don't play PC games. I was
Yeah.
dropping consistently 20 plus eliminations, and I was like, I'm having a great fucking time right now.
Yeah.
Like if I played Sweats, I wouldn't, but like just public, like
Pub matches
casual,
were yeah,
so much fun. It's
were a
so much fun.
blast. My first game on, I dropped 27, and I was like, wait, what? Like, okay. I mean, this is pretty sick. I mean, there was a couple times we got 3-0'd, but when we got 3-0'd, we were losing to kids that beamed. We weren't losing to kids that were shitters. Like,
Right.
there's other FPS games that you can play. I mean, Overwatch is key. You get bad teammates in Overwatch, it's a Jeej. You can just throw in the fucking towel. It's over. But with Rogue Company, man, I don't know. The fact
I
that
think with a few changes, I think it'll be fucking
the 4v4 and the small map sizes is really is what pulls me in.
agreed.
I love that. I just I love that shit. I love 4v4. I wish it could happen in COD, but we've already discussed it. I love the 4v4 aspect in Rogue. I love the small maps. I'm sure everybody has seen Dr. Disrespect's map, and if you haven't, then go to his Twitter at Dr. Disrespect and go look at the map that he created of the arena. I mean, it's banana sandwich. Floppy, thanks for the 1,500 bits. I appreciate that. Says the Caps are gonna win because Caps are gonna win. Oh no, the Caps won. Holy, they're still alive. My God.
Holy shit!
I can't wait to have an NHL podcast, like an episode just dedicated to hockey.
Yeah, I'll just sit here the whole time and look pretty. Don't worry about it.
No, you can run one of them for baseball, my guy.
Yes.
Do a half baseball, half hockey one, absolutely. Yeah, they did. Let's go. And Harax is in here too. What's up, everybody? Okay, so we're winding down. We're kind of
Take a shot.
Who is my Stanley Cup champion and why? I will keep it simple because I want to answer this in a hockey podcast. My Stanley Cup champion, Colorado Avalanche. I'm gonna let you stew on that. And you know I'm a Rangers fan. You know I'm a Sharks fan. But I got yeah, damn, the Colorado Avalanche look nasty. They just top to bottom, they're healthy and they're fucking gross. They're nasty. So I'll leave it at that. Scott, one sec. I will ask your question and then I'll answer it. Ask your question in the chat and then I'll answer it. Last question that we got sent again by Floppy. Does Fortnite have a chance to rebound if they take things out, or do they not care about the casual player? I think they care too much.
I was gonna agree with that.
About the
They
casual
care way
player.
Too much about casual.
Why is Scott the most vital part of FTF?
Holy shit!
They say, "Holy shit!"
Dude, I literally just fucking. I know the way he asked that. He's like on his phone. He's like, "Ha, this is the way I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna ask this to piss him off."
He says, "I want to know." Even Trevin was like, "Yeah." I think Fortnite panders to the casual player too much the same way that Call of Duty does. I think that they're making the game. They're adding all these things. Listen, I used to play I used to play Fortnite a lot. I never was a content creator or a streamer for it. I never did anything like that because I wasn't good at it, but I did play it. And I can tell you that I never touched the game again. In fact, I'm going to take a picture of it so you guys can see. I think it's like season 8 is the logo that I have on my PlayStation from
He's the
season
best bait. Damn straight,
season
Trev.
yeah, season 8 from chapter 1. I don't play it, man. After season 7, when they added in the airplanes and the swords and then their vaulting weapons, when they vaulted my SMG, that's when I had enough. And after that, I feel like it was the right time to go. The only way that I see Fortnite recovering and rebounding after, especially after Fall Guys comes in, it just takes a hot steaming pile right on their chest. You've got to listen to your competitive players. You have to listen to your competitive players. I don't know who's fucking calling the shots. I don't know if they have like a spinny board, because this is how I think. If you want to know how I think Modern Warfare runs and like how I think that they pick things, I think that there's like a big spinny board. It's like right here, and they just go and spins really fast. Okay, and they have 3 employees, 3 interns actually, because there's no way that they have the money to actually hire somebody. 3 interns take darts, and while that fucking wheel is spinning its ass off, they throw darts, and wherever the dart lands, that's what they're gonna fuck up in Modern Warfare for that patch. Because I'm
Yeah.
sorry, man, they don't give a shit about their game, and I'm glad that I'm on a podcast and that I'm going to be able to record this, because now I can finally get this off my chest. Modern Warfare sucks. It is horrible from the spawn. That's why I don't play pubs. The only time I play pubs is to level up my guns. I don't play CDL playlist. They don't have ranked, which is a fucking joke for a competitive based game that has a franchise league. They don't have ranked play. Absolute joke. The guns in this game are just stupid. And then they ask, "Hey guys, can you hey guys, can you guys not cheat, please? And then it may result in a ban if you do so. Yeah. Oh, okay, yeah. Ask us nicely.
It's like it'll result in the ban, but like in fucking
Maybe.
parentheses, they're like it won't.
It is literally. It's like in a little asterisk at the bottom in like size 8 fucking point font, or like in .8
Yeah.
font at the bottom. Just kidding. You're not actually going to get banned. We hope that you cheat because this game sucks and we don't really care. Boop. Like I was creating so much Warzone content, but I stopped playing it on PC because it doesn't run well on PC. I'm sorry, it doesn't run well on PC unless you have your 2080 Ti SLI with 250 fucking 6 gigs of RAM and a Threadripper. Congrats, good for you. I'm running a 2060 Super with a Ryzen 7 3700X, and game runs like trash. I moved to my PS4. All of a sudden, I picked up 20 wins. I just this game is garbage, bro. It hurts. Because he's the best bait. Oh my god.
Holy
Oh,
shit.
oh man. So with that, everybody, we just wanted to say that's the end of the questions. That's the end of this podcast for now. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in, for sticking around. 2 hours and 15 minutes is fucking awesome. Wasn't sure how long we were gonna go. I'm glad that we were able to talk with as much as we were. I'm gonna read off some of the quick things here. Just we got some 1,500 bits from Floppy. Foggers and Swavelli have followed. Navi gifted a tier 1 to Zydes, and Hutto subbed with a Twitch Prime and hit me with the follow. So thank you so much, everybody, for coming in. Thank you so much for listening to Cap and I yap about Call of Duty. I'm telling you, the podcasts are only going to get better because we're learning how to do this. This is episode 1. So, Cap, you have any closing remarks here?
So first of all, I want to fucking agree with Trev. Literally, one of the top Warzone people on the leaderboard is named "Gonna Get Banned," and it's like it couldn't be more. Like, he has a specific amount of kills. Like, it isn't like some random like 20,203 kills. It's legit like 20,000 evenly, 1,200 evenly. Like, it's all even and all that bullshit. But no. But second of all, I just want to appreciate you guys for coming out. Whoever's still here, appreciate all you guys for coming out. Supporting it. Giving all the questions that you guys can, staying on the view as long as you guys have. It was fucking fun. I literally fucking woke up from like a little power nap before, like 30 minutes before this is getting to start, and I literally started kind of getting a little bit nervous about it, just because I want this to be so good. And I think after fucking, let's see, at 2 hours and 15 minutes later, about 20 minutes later, we're fucking chilling here. Had a great fucking time. A lot of fucking great points were made, valid points, great conversation for this shit. Like,
Yeah.
dude literally had the worst sleeping schedule ever. Dog, I slept for an hour, maybe, Scott. Fuck off. Anyway, anyway, yeah, no,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Uh,
It's fun.
yeah.
Can't wait for episode 2, pretty much.
Yeah, we're just so you guys know, we're gonna be trying to do this every single Tuesday, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Changing up what we're talking about. Talking about
Some
sports,
guests on.
esports. I mean, we're gonna be talking about everything. Everybody that came in the chat, I can't specifically name you all off because there's so many chats. But everybody that was talking in the chat, I just want to say one more time before we go, thank you so much for stopping by. Both Cap and I appreciate it. You are all awesome. Thank you so much for the kind words. Everybody telling us that this was a great podcast. Scott just said it was greatly entertaining. Lex said great podcast, great episode. Norcia, we're gonna get a sports guy. We're gonna get a sports corner with Buzz Guy.
Love that.
So with that, we're gonna end it. Thanks all for coming by. Make sure you check out my YouTube. It's posted right here. Boop 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 boop. That's mine.
So is what, mine.
And Caps is
That's actually my Twitter.
yeah.
This.
So I'm
That's
gonna be
my YouTube, right down there.
I'm gonna be posting the full video recap of this on my Twitter. I'm sorry, on my YouTube. And the audio we're gonna try to get up on YouTube. I'm sorry, on iTunes, Spotify, and SoundCloud, so that everybody else can listen to it and share it and enjoy it. So again, thank you all for coming by. I appreciate it. You guys and gals are all awesome, and we will see you guys next week. Peace.